I would have been 2, 4, 5, 6.
State of the Save is back with part 1 of our Mega Man Battle Network discussion. This is a show live from the net. We are jacked in to the 2000s metaverse to discuss this game, but I could not do this alone. I am here with friend of the show, first time on a GameClub episode, Tanner. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be back. Especially to be back for Mega Man, one of my favorite series. So, yeah, this is cool.
This is a series that I've just never had the opportunity to sit down and really get to know Mega Man. It's always been through osmosis, being into video games, knowing what Mega Man was. I said it on the prep show that the only two gaming experiences I've had with Mega Man, besides him being in Smash Brothers, were the Mega Man The Wily Wars collection on
Genesis
Online, and the Mega Man fighting game that is on rotation in Street Fighter 6.
Man, that game is so weird, but I love that when we were talking about what games to do, one of my suggestions was, I think I wrote Mega Man Anything, to which you replied, Mega Man Legends 2. And you were like, I've never played Mega Man Legends 1 even, or any Mega Man game. But I figured I'd start with 2, and I was like, what the hell is he talking? I had to negotiate you down from that to Battle Network, because I think I wanted to do something like Mega Man X, which is a short game, but it was like, okay, no, we're not doing Legends 2, but let's do Battle Network. That has a story, that's got this, we can make it work.
Well, my reasoning for Legends 2 was the length of the game. I was trying to find a Mega Man with a lot of story in it that met, and plus Legends 2, I was trying to frame it from a Legends 3 got canceled. I want to see if there's a big dramatic cliffhanger or where we end up. Why were people so mad there was not a Legends 3? Was kind of where I wanted to go with that conversation.
I gotcha. I've known about the Legends cliffhanger for years, but I will confess something. Despite being a Mega Man fan, I've never actually played Mega Man Legends 1 or 2.
Okay. But then you suggested Battle Network, which I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense, actually.
Yeah, well, it was sort of the compromise. It was like, okay, this will work. This will fit the parameters that I was given.
I was scared these would be 30-hour Pokemon RPGs, plus sometimes with Game Boy Advance RPGs, there's some weird, you can run into situations where I was trying to avoid us running into a situation where we would bang our heads against the wall and going, yeah, I'm soft locked because I leveled up wrong.
Oh, yeah, no, I think they did say this has to work. You mentioned this in your prep, which was great. They had to make it work for kids. One little thing two little things I want to add to your prep, just that I found very funny, is that Mega Man Battle Network 2 comes out less than a year after this, at least in Japan. They were really pumping these out. There's just a span where it's Battle Network for the next 5 years. It's just bam, bam, bam.
I can see that short turnaround, because how I gauge the game clubs and where to divide them up is I look at long plays. I look at multiple long plays. If it's a two-parter, I go to the exact halfway point of a lot of these and see if there's a matchup, and then so split the difference. When I typed in Battle Network long play, the screenshot, the thumbnail for Battle Network 1 and Battle Network 2 were the exact same classroom set. And I was like, huh. So I clicked on the wrong one going, why is this game completely different? Are there branching paths? What's going on? Oh, wait, it's Battle Network 2. Weird.
They were like, what if we did Majora's Mask, but that was the default? That's going to be every game's time limit, and if for development, we're just going to do it as fast as possible, make as much money off this as we can. Because you were right, when you look at just how many Mega Mans would come out within the span of a year, up until the mid-2000s, it was very consistent, and it was insane.
And they were not the mainline series. It was X, Extreme, Soccer, freaking...
The thing that killed me is that X starts in the middle of the first series. I think X... Because I always thought, at least when I first got into Mega Man, I'm like, okay, so it must have been Mega Man 1 through 7. 7's the only mainline on the Super Nintendo. And then Mega Man X. And it's and forgive me if I'm wrong on like one of these, but it's like no, it's like Mega Man 1 through 3 and then X, and then they would do like Mega Man. Oh no, I think it was Mega Man 1 through 4 and then X and then 5 and 6 and then like X2. It was so weird. They were, although it was the time where like
1 through
people
6 were all NES. They were all.
Well, no, I know that, but I mean, like they started working on Mega Man X before they were done with NES Mega Mans. Is all I'm trying to say.
Working on it, gotcha. Not necessarily.
Yeah. Oh, I think they released it before. I think they released it before like 5 even was out. I can double check that.
The timeline of Mega Man is complicated. Like it's crazy because it's like here's a million things and then nothing.
Dude, it's so it's so nothing for the last however many years.
You got 11.
And by the way, the timeline thing that was the other thing I was going to bring up is this is the first Mega Man to finally be in a different timeline, because Mega Man also has one of those insane continuities where like it has kept going up until this. This is the first of the new timeline because Mega Man X is 100 years after, Mega Man Legends is like 1,000 years after, and then right a year after Mega Man Battle Network, they're gonna make Mega Man Zero, which takes place 100 years after X, but before Legends.
What?
Like it's so nuts.
Okay, don't.
Okay, so
That's
I do
too much.
maybe. I guess I was wrong. I guess I was wrong. I was mostly wrong. They did release Mega Man 5 before X, but I think Mega Man 6 comes out at the same time as X or after X. Like, they were still doing, like... Yeah. So
Gotcha.
I apologize for that mistake. However, I just want it noted that, like, they had X and the main series going at the same time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird series, man. And even back in the day, people were devoted to like keeping track of the continuity. It was one of those like early, like forget the Zelda timeline. People were trying to figure out what happened between like Mega Man mainline and then X, and then Zero throws like a wrench in the works. Yeah.
So was there reveals that happened in like Mega Man 6 that affected the X timeline at all, or?
There is a reveal in, I believe, the Mega Man fighting game that you actually said. Again, this is crazy, that this is like an important part of the continuity, is that it confirmed, and maybe this was what started the theory, but I thought, again, I might be wrong on this, Mega Man experts can come at me, but basically one of the endings for that shows Wily building a new robot that's he's like, oh, this is gonna kill Mega Man and Dr. Light, and it's Mega Man X.
What?
Sorry, Mega Man Zero. Mega Man Zero.
Okay.
And so it kind of like confirmed the theory that actually Zero was built by Wily, and he killed Mega Man and Roll and all of them, and then like Mega Man X begins. Like it's so bizarre.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah, no, Zero like killed. I think that is canon now. Is like Zero killed them all.
Oh right. And for this one, none of that's important. Wipe the slate clean.
This was where they were like, let's wipe the slate clean if we're going to get new kids into this. And I think that actually, from a business sense, makes sense. You have the original audience aging up into teenagers, early 20s. But if you still want kids to be into Mega Man, you got to like give them a fresh start. And this was something we'll kind of get into why it works as a fresh start. But it is so early 2000s in the best way. In terms of like its world.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get fully into this game. But first, let's do an old staple here on Stay of the Safe. Tanner, what have you been playing outside of Mega Man Battle Network?
Well, like everyone else, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I won't bore everyone with my own Tears of the Kingdom stories because you've heard a million podcasts talk about it. I will say that, Michael, I'm a big fan of the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah,
and there's a big new one out.
There's a
Final
new
Fantasy
shiny
16.
One out?
Yeah, so I decided I was going to catch up on Final Fantasy 14 patch 6.4.
I mean, now's the time to catch up before you delve into a 100-hour RPG.
100 hours is lowballing it, man. I think I sent you the screenshot where PlayStation was like, here's how much, because I played on PlayStation, here's how much you played of this last year, and I'm like, oh, God. And I sent it to a buddy of mine. I'm like, I think I have a problem. He's like, get on my level, and his was like over 1,000.
Oh, my God.
It's so nuts, man. I don't want to, again, like, if you're not into the Final Fantasy 14 stuff, I don't want to talk about it too much. I will just say, like, the reason I'm saying, like, a patch 6.4, is that between expansions, the patches drop like story stuff, so it's usually leading into the next patch.
Yeah.
The next expansion. And in fact, some of the like in between expansion stuff is the best stuff they did. If you talk to a Final Fantasy XIV fan and you just say the word 5.3, like most people will agree 5.3 is the peak of Final Fantasy XIV, like that story within that patch. Which was the resolution to the Shadowbringers expansion, the true resolution. And 6.4, all I will say is that it's really dragging. I thought for sure it was going to end, and then they always do these 5 patches. They do 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and then the expansion. And I thought, okay, 0.4 is going to wrap up this story we've been doing in between expansions, and then 0.5 is going to set up the next thing. And they really just kind of drag it out. That like, I don't know. It just felt like this was kind of a whiff. It felt like it was right to end this little sub-story here and then set up what's next. Because I'll say this, I have no idea what's next.
Okay.
Every expansion usually the patches lead into the next expansion. Again, with Shadowbringers, like the pre-Shadowbringer stuff that like leads into that expansion is also some of the best stuff in Final Fantasy XIV. But this one, I'm like, I have no idea where they're going with this.
So is Creative Business Unit 3, are they still... During the development of Final Fantasy XVI, were they the ones leading Final Fantasy XIV still, or did they pass it off to like Business Unit 2 or 4 to handle?
I gotta be honest, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
I know for sure that they did bring on Final Fantasy XIV writers and the producer because 15 was kind of a disaster. Although I'm curious if commercially it was. I feel like the consensus that it was a disaster. Although it wouldn't surprise me if the budget was so big that even though it sold pretty well, it was a disaster.
It took so long in development.
Yeah, it had like that movie prequel thing. I think the road to 15 was where it was like peak Square hubris, where it was just like, we're going to put out like this prequel and this movie and like all this stuff. And I think with 16, they were just kind of like, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back for a sec. And again, I haven't played it. I do want to play it, of course, just when I have more time. But yeah, Final Fantasy XIV, patch 6.4, the other side stuff was okay, but the main story they've been doing is kind of just dragging on. Although I will give a shout out to the moment where a character asks if they should all strip naked to be polite to the guy who's half naked is one of the funniest moments in that entire series. I'll just leave it at that, but I've been enjoying it otherwise.
Final Fantasy 15 has sold about 10 million units worldwide, and every single more re-release of that seems to do better critically. About the low to mid 80s on Metacritic, so
I gotta wonder, because I always go to Matt McMuscles. He makes I don't love all of his stuff, but I do like his What Happened series. The research in those videos is fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's great. I like Matt McMuscles.
Yeah, and I remember him talking about Resident Evil 6 and how even though it was the best-selling Resident Evil game at that time, the reason they did that whole pseudo reboot with 7 is because yes, it was the best-selling game, but it also cost so much money that it didn't make it back. There's always that thing when you look up sales numbers. Another way, Michael, you're a film guy. I know you're a movie guy.
Yeah.
One of the most famous box office bombs in history, Cleopatra, famously kind of killed the studio system in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's forgotten about that movie was the highest grossing movie of that year. It was just the budget was so massive it didn't make it back. Yeah. So there's always
it's like
that
what
factor.
we were talking about with the big thing was Avatar: The Way of Water. How it had to the break-even point was like $1.8 billion or something. Ridiculous.
Although I'll say Big Jim was like, watch me. And then it's like, well, okay, he's got a good point there.
I'm like, there's no way people are going to go back to see Avatar and then an egg on my face moment going, it's the third highest grossing movie of all time. Well, I'm like, okay,
bro,
then.
I am fully Pandora pilled. I am so on the Avatar train right now. That new Avatar game coming out, I was losing my mind during that reveal. I'm like, this is the only way they're going to get me to play a Far Cry again is if it's just the Avatar world. I'm in. I'm so in.
Was that second movie apparently great? Because all of a sudden people who I've never heard anyone talk about Avatar for 10 years and now everyone's like, yeah, Avatar's great. I'm like, where'd this
Dude,
come from?
it rules. Payakin is my hero. The Way of Water has no beginning and no end. Like, let's go. Let's Jake Sully, my boy.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
I need to
that's
watch
the
this.
Avatar 2 discussion. I finally got to talk about it on a podcast.
Bottled up inside, like I need to tell the world
Basically.
about Way of Water. This third highest grossing movie of all time needs some love from the people.
Man, it's just that whole thing of like, what you think is popular, you never know. The other example that I think people are right to point to is like, Sony thought because of the memes, Morbius would be popular when they re-released it, and no sir.
I love the always go back to the people begging online, the petition online for, hey, can you release it a third time? We were all busy that weekend.
We were all busy. Let's do it again. Hell yeah, dude. What? I'm curious. What about you? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Street Fighter 6 has its hooks in me to the point where Tears of the Kingdom is not quite on the backlog yet, but I feel it's slipping there, even though I don't want it there, because Tears of the Kingdom is a game I want to immerse myself in for an afternoon. Street Fighter 6 is a game I'm like, you know what, I got an hour, let's play some World Tour, or I'm going to go online and start getting really good at some online matches. I'm still not really good at some online matches, but I've settled into a main. Last time I talked about how I've been winning more matches as Ken and Jamie, but I really want to get good with Manon. I'm starting to get pretty decent with Manon. I'm climbing up the ranks in Iron. I ended a guy's 7-win streak online. That felt great.
That's awesome, dude.
Then he proceeded to kick my ass easily for the next 2 rounds. As I was laughing, going like, I pissed this guy off. This is great.
Hey man, he got too proud. He got too prideful. Pride cometh before the fall and such.
I wasn't even mad. I was just laughing, going, "Oh, he's pissed."
Yeah, man. I want to get into Street Fighter 6, and I haven't. I've played it, but like I haven't had the time to devote myself to it. I will say that the one time I did really like try to get into it, I decided to try the new modern controls, and I think they're good for people.
Yeah.
My problem was I just tested them as Ryu because I wanted to see how that would go, and I just kept instinctively doing the actual like regular Street Fighter motions. So I think I'm gonna have to do that. Like I can't help myself. I've been playing Street Fighter too long to adapt to this. I think it'll be great for new people. I just don't think it's gonna work for me.
I can see that for new people especially. It's just that when you play the World Tour mode for Chapter 1, they make you do modern controls. And that was harder for me to wrap my head around classic controls, each like low, medium, heavy punch, low, medium, heavy kick. Just all of that makes sense. When I do like a low, medium, or a heavy attack, I don't know what's exactly going to come out, and that I want to have like full control of my character. I want to know exactly more or less what each button is going to do. So yeah. I just couldn't Modern was hard to wrap my head around than Classic, but so there is people who say, "Oh, it's a lot easier. It's the easy mode." I'm like, not really. It's just a different way of doing things. And if you,
I don't think it's easier. At least not for me.
No, and if the only time I think it's actually easier is if you're using the command grab characters. Having Zangief's like big, I'm gonna throw you up in the air and pile drive you into the ground move being just like 2 buttons versus...
I can't play grapplers. I've never been good at that whole style. Zangief. I respect that he's in like every game. I can't play as him.
Manon is a good entry point into her because she's got good pokes for long range to keep people back. Like she has like a pirouette spin. But once they get close, you can just do that command grab motion. And the more you do that command grab, the more powerful it gets. So
you know what?
I do want to entryway into grapplers.
Okay. I do want to backtrack a little on my statement. I did play Laura a lot in Street Fighter V, who was also sort of a command grab like hybrid. Like she had ranged attacks that just helped keep people away, but she was primarily a command grab character. And I liked her a lot. So I guess I can play those characters. Zangief has always been for me like, no, I just cannot.
I've played around with a few characters, but for the most part, I've been going back and forth between like the 3 characters I'm decent with, Ken, Jamie, and Menon. But then most of my time is the World Tour mode. I'm about 15 to 20 hours in the World Tour. That mode is
God,
great.
I haven't even started that. I need to.
If you want to play Street Fighter 6 in bursts, this is the mode to do it in. It's just... Did you play the PS2 Mortal Kombat games? Specifically Deception?
No, I know of those stories, though. Like, okay. I know how they worked. I've watched some long plays.
Gotcha. This is that, and as someone who grew up playing Mortal Kombat Deception, 100%ing Mortal Kombat Deception story, this takes me back to that time. I absolutely love it. I love going around and unlocking new cosmetic items for my avatar, which makes me want to go on the Battle Hub so I can show people the avatar I created and everything. Mm-hmm. So it's just a lot of fun. Every mode feeds into each other. I think I've logged the most hours in the practice mode and World Tour by a long shot. So if you want to get into Street Fighter 6 and have it make you want to keep playing, then the World Tour mode is definitely how to do it, because you can definitely get your short bursts out of it, which is what has me coming back to it more than something like Tears of the Kingdom, which I absolutely adore, but I need to sit down. Mm-hmm. And because I've been away from it for about a couple weeks now, it's that initial startup again. Once I start playing it again, it's going to feel great, but it's just that intimidation of going, I don't know, where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah, believe me, that's always a problem with RPGs, right? So I've got Xenoblade 3 sitting on the last chapter still for like half a year, and the longer I sit away from it, the more I forget like how to do it, even though that has one of my favorite like action RPG combat systems of the last decade. Or at least the class system.
They just released a patch for Triangle Strategy that allows you to replay all the cutscenes while you're in the middle of the story. So
that's good.
That might be a way to get back into the game. I'm like, because that was one I put down for so long, and that is Triangle Strategy is a game I played for about 10 hours. It is a fantastic game, fantastic story. I put it down for 2 weeks, picked it up, and went, what?
Yeah, man, like I used to never understand. When I was a kid, I had heard like, adults don't finish games. Like the majority of games that go unfinished, and I'm like, that's crazy. And now as an adult man working, I work 5 days a week. I have like a decent, like a regular schedule. Even that is just insane. And I don't have like kids or anything, so I can't imagine like, with more obligations, how anyone can find the time. But basically, I feel like we're just two men who are turning from young to old before your eyes, listeners. And we're just kind of realizing like, oh yeah, this is why you stop playing video games sometimes.
This is why there needs to be more games that are geared to playing in short bursts.
Yes, that is an amazing segue, Michael.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Games for portable systems.
Oscar nominations for Best Segue.
Thank you.
Michael, on this podcast, yeah.
I'm keeping the spirit of Eric alive with his segues, and then thank you for keeping the spirit alive of also pointing out the segue. That's what we do. Now we gotta spend a minute talking about segues. Is how we do things on the show.
I just want to note that I had an opportunity to go off about Final Fantasy XIV, and I held back. So I think you and the listeners should be thanking me, frankly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's dive into... Alright, let's hit the L buttons to jack in back to the net so we can discuss Mega Man Battle Network. Oh boy.
Okay. Right off the bat, Michael, just because what you said, I think the first thing I texted you, because like you said, we don't want to text each other, as you noted, so that we can keep the conversation fresh.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I texted you, though, was we have to put a moratorium on jack-in jokes, because there are so many. There are just so many.
Items I jacked into: a vase, several computers.
I think that was the hardest one. The one I laughed at the hardest was, it's a vase, you can jack into it. I think that was the one where I was like losing it. Oh, God.
The oven.
It's so funny. And they all just say it straight-faced. They'll be like, hey, kid, jack into that thing.
There's a port on
But
this
like,
thing.
yeah, we're gonna be like, again, I think we have to put a moratorium on it because we're gonna act like 5-year-olds the whole time if we don't. But yeah, the jack in general, the whole jack like terminology for hijacking something on the internet, which has again been like a late '90s, early 2000s thing, has always like been kind of goofy. This really emphasized it since it is the main term.
This is peak, like, kids love the Matrix without actually having seen the Matrix.
Hmm.
Like,
This is so. Michael, you've seen Fairly Odd Parents, right?
yes.
Did this remind you of that episode where Timmy goes into the internet?
Yes!
It's
Yes!
so like how do we visualize like email essentially? How do we like
Oh my god,
I know we want to talk about the
delivering.
gameplay first, but when there's like literally a person in the internet has to come over to your avatar on the internet and deliver a letter and then they read the letter. It's just so like, yeah, I guess this was how do you visualize this?
That was one bit I had to look that up going, okay, I sent the email. And then had to be like, no, you didn't. Mega Man has to
Yep.
travel, walk
Oh my
into the
God.
internet, the spinning E symbol, go to the person's computer, and hand it off like a delivery boy. I'm like, oh my god.
All right. So Michael, I know you want to talk about gameplay first, and so we will. I just want to ask one question.
Yes.
How many hours in do you think it was before you started using a walkthrough?
I haven't been using one extensively. I've just been every time if something takes me more than 5 to 10 minutes to figure it out, I will hop on a long play on YouTube and be like, "What am I supposed to be doing?" But
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to the Game Facts guide by Emperor-Justinian-1, which was last updated in 2005. Emperor Justinian, of course, Emperor of the Byzantine Empire with his wife Theodora. Obviously, like, shout out to this person because I don't know that I could have made it through this without them.
I
Genuinely.
try I try to do these without guides as much as I can, but this game requires one. It's nuts.
It's really nuts how like there's just and the game actually tries that like if you press the L button, it has Mega Man usually tell you like, oh, you should like do this. But I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. It's like, well, you should deliver like that example. Oh, you should respond to that character's email, and you want to be like, I did. It gave me a prompt, and I did. And it doesn't
Yes.
tell you like, no, you have to jack into the computer, go over to her computer, and drop off the note. Like that's how that works.
Oh man. So yeah, my enjoyment of this game is widely varying on a minute by minute basis. 1 minute I'll
Same.
be like, this game is fantastic, this is great. And then the next minute going, I hate this game and everything about it, and I want to throw things.
Yep. Because I will say just right off the bat, like, Mega Man, as we've kind of hinted, that was like a series of side-scrolling, action-heavy platformers, and then Legends was like a Zelda-like, and this
Yeah.
one really feels like it is its own thing. It's like
Yeah.
turn-based RPG while also being like tactical strategy and a card game, as
It's
you
a
mentioned in the preview.
real time. I saw it. Real time tactics RPG, not turn based, but it's like real time. It's a card. If you want to be really regressive about it, it's a card battler.
It is. Ultimately, it is a card battler, but I will say there's a lot of stuff about this combat that I like. And frankly, the fact that I've heard the sequels are better makes me think that they took that. I think they took all of the base of this and took out a bunch of the other stuff. So, because as we've said, neither of us have played this game. Um, After playing this, I do think eventually, at least, I'm definitely going to play like Battle Network 2
Mm-hmm.
because I want to know what they improved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like so I think it also doesn't help that the Mega Buster. So the idea, right, is that you get your cards and then you use them. I would say it's a card battler, but with the to tie it all back to what I was playing, it's the Final Fantasy ATB system. So if you don't know what that is, listeners, that was where in Final Fantasy it was a turn-based RPG. So how do you make it different from like Dragon Quest, which was like the big deal? Well, you make it all like time-based. So when you do a move, one character like your character now has to wait, and you see their bar filling up to when they can make their next move, and so you want to do these things like quickly because your opponent is on the same time frame. I gotta be honest. I have just said I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, despite the ATB system. I hate it. I really hate the ATB system. I like turn-based combat where it is take as much time on the turn as you want.
I
I do like turn-based RPGs, but I like to take my time.
I really like the time system here because how it works is you basically draw 5 cards and you have as much time as you need to figure out your combo. Each card is assigned a letter and an ability. You can combine 2 cards of the same ability but different letters, or you can combine as I think up to 5 cards of all the same letter together.
Mm-hmm.
So, or you can pass on your turn, and then you can keep those 5 cards, and then on the next turn, you will have an additional 5 cards to stack, and you can do that up to 3 times. So, this is ultimately about finding ways and making your deck so that way you can combine cards or have groupings of cards together. Like you have a lot of one card, like the I go back to like the Shockwave and the upgraded Shockwaves. My deck has a lot of those because those are always useful. When enemies line
Michael,
up in
me
a
too,
line,
man. I'm glad to hear, like, yes, Shockwave is kind of OP for, like, the early game abilities.
Yes.
Shockwave's really good.
Shockwave and the up because there's multiple different versions of Shockwave. It's like Shockwave, Sonic Wave, and like Scion Wave. I think is the third tier of that.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're kind of hinting you really got to keep up with your deck in this one. Like I was getting destroyed, and I realized, oh well, I haven't really been like updating my cards, and I've got just better versions of abilities I already have now.
you can just easily
but I
like
wasn't using
replace those. It's all about trying to balance fight the amount of cards you have of the same letter, and just having decent abilities. Like I can have a I'm fine having a Recover 200 that doesn't match anything else in my deck because Recover 200 is going to be very useful on its own.
Same, yeah.
Or
That's how I work my recover abilities. Is like, look, if I need it, like I don't need to do another attack. I need to recover.
or of course when I have like a lot of the side characters in this game will have abilities to help you out in battle. For example, Roll, she has a attack for 60 and heal for 30, but a level 2 of that is attack for 80 and heal for 40. I could have just swapped out that one for the more powerful version, but I kept both in my deck because they both have the R letter. So I was able to, so that way when I draw them both, I can stack it, then I can heal 70, but also do 140 damage, which I think is it's a balancing act with these abilities, and you basically learn by doing them. So you eventually learn stuff for the early game can easily be replaced with stuff later on, or just becomes not very practical. For example, I used the crossbolt ability in the early game a lot, but after like the second or third dungeon, that completely wiped from my deck because I'm not running into situations where I can like stack these or use these effectively anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, no, actually, same on that one in particular. Whereas I've kept a couple shotguns because those go through like multiple enemies that are in a row, and I've just found I'm like, well, I can kind of get them lined up if I do things right. I want to note I sounded very negative because it reminded me of the ATB system. I'm actually a huge fan of the battle system. I actually really like the idea that so you can use your cards right away, and then it's like, well, I gotta wait a sec. And so I think what separates the ATB system from this is that there's actual dodging. There's still gameplay. That's what I never liked about the Final Fantasy battle system, is that you're just sitting there. You're sitting there waiting to press the button. Whereas this, I actually do like that. Okay, well, you have to figure out how to dodge these attacks, and also like. Since some of the attacks that your enemies have will destroy parts of your grid, you have to be like, okay, well, I can't move over there, and I need to be ready in case I have this ability. I have to like think. You're thinking in a lot of different ways, and so before I sound too negative, I actually really, really like the battle system. I do think that there is a problem in the beginning, which is that the first 2 enemies you face, one of them makes sense. The metals, which by the way, that's been around since Mega Man 1. The metal is such a great design for what I call a little dude. That is just a great like little dude design. He's just got a little construction helmet, and he's 2 eyeballs, and he's got these 2 little legs, and he's really cute. But I will say the other big enemy is they have a stationary turret with more health than like any of the early weapons could kill in one hit. And I think that was absurd because it is so like that made it just so much waiting. That's what killed me. It was so your Mega Buster is so weak. So if we didn't mention in between like waiting for your cards, you can still shoot like your regular little arm cannon, but it doesn't do a lot of damage compared to your abilities. So I just found that the turret stuff, I really think the balancing, and again, I'm hopeful that the sequels did change this. The balancing in the early game fights, it was like, okay, kill the metal because he's the only one who could like move around, and then okay, gotta wait like 2 turns to kill this turret, and also it can't like you're literally not even really dodging it, like it can't shoot anywhere besides the row that it is facing. I just found that was such a like I wanted to know what the playtesting was like. Did they not realize that this was going to be really boring, like really early on?
I feel like they didn't want to overwhelm you with an enemy that can jump a lot of lanes and do fast attacks early on. So it was mostly like, hey, there's some enemies that will only attack on a lane. So having like a stationary version of that, I think, was their solution for that. Even though you have enemies that mostly stick to one lane later on, like the whale enemy that shoots bubbles, just kind of stays in one spot. I feel like you
there's
could
a lot
have
of
lowered
enemies
the
that
health on that and just made that a enemy. Because that also teaches you that sometimes attacks aren't one-off, that they'll hover in a lane and stick around where you have to dodge them multiple times.
You're right, Michael. So actually, yeah, if there is that whole thing of like the turret will lock onto you and you'll see the like reticle like lock on, and you'll have time to dodge it before it actually fires.
Yeah.
And so you're right, it does teach you that. I think maybe you're right, maybe they just need to lower the health. I think that is a big thing. It's just that it takes so long to kill. And as I think we'll get into, like, there's a lot of random encounters in this game.
Oh my god.
So every time I saw like 3 turrets, I'm like, oh fuck you.
The main problem with this game, a lot of the solutions is just tweaking some balancing of things. Scale the health on this enemy here, scale like its attack here, lower the random encounter rate by about half, because oh my god,
it's nuts.
I talked about this at the beginning, but there are bits where I am convinced that the longer you play, the heavier the random encounter rate would hit, because on the third dungeon, fourth boss, the Iceman dungeon.
Okay,
I spent about a solid hour playing that, and near the end of my session, I was like, "What are we doing? I can't make 3 steps without it going into a battle, and because of that, I don't have a sense for the layout of the dungeon, so I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or where I'm supposed to be going." But
no, that killed me too. I'm sorry, just real quick, I want to note that was my same issue, was I kept forgetting the layout. I was like, wait, where was I going originally? And we'll get into this as well, the dungeons are not visually distinct. They all look exactly I mean, technically the backgrounds are, but like within the dungeon, you're like, wait, which direction was I supposed to go?
There is a couple dungeons that I actually really like. I mean, I've started really liking the ice dungeon, but then I quickly fell off of that. Especially like the first the fire dungeon and
this might be optimistic, but I think this might be optimistic, but I think the ice dungeon is probably going to end up being the worst in the game. I leave myself open to like another dungeon being worse, but like that was truly okay. So I mentioned this. You're playing it on Game Boy, like a copy of the original. You know,
I'm playing
through
the Game
certain
Boy
means.
Advance original.
Yeah, exactly. Your winking does not come across well on an audio format, Michael.
I know.
I played the recent collection. I don't know if it's called the Legacy Collection. I
it's
forget.
Legacy Collection.
But yeah, the recent collection, and they have a couple settings. So one of them I did end up turning on for the Ice Dungeon was the Mega Buster one-hit kills. So I didn't even have to use cards. I would just shoot things with the Mega Buster, and I only did that because the Ice Dungeon just got on my nerves so much that I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't spend this much time on this dungeon anymore. I have to move on. I do want to note, by the way, that collection also has some other things I just want to touch on real quick. First off, and I messaged this to you, it immediately comes with a content warning. And I have not found... Yeah, I was like, it's one of those, like, if you ever pop open, like, a Looney Tunes DVD where they say, like, hey, so there's some bad stuff in these because they were made at a different time. This game has one of those. I haven't found...
This is culturally... Things that were culturally acceptable at the time are no longer acceptable today, but we have chosen not to alter it. Viewer discretion is advised. You sent me that?
Which, first of all, is the correct thing to do. First of all, it's the correct thing to do. Second, I was like... what the hell's going on in this game? Like, that really immediately threw me. And I want to note that pops up when you start the collection, so I do not know if it's this game that has that. In fact, I might look it up after like we conclude this episode.
My
But
guess is maybe one of like the Robot Masters or something. I don't.
based on what you said of the one we had, like our endpoint for this, where Colorman was known by a different name in Japan,
Yep.
I think that's kind of the vibe. Yeah. Just a couple other things I want to hit on for this collection. They don't let you have just a no border. Like, I have to have a border with characters on it.
Mhm.
That really bums me out. I do not like playing these games with very detailed borders. I've gotten used to it, but I would prefer either just like a solid color or just no border, just black.
As a kid of the 90s, I'm afraid of burn-in, even though I shouldn't be anymore. We fixed burn-in. Burn-in's no
we
longer
did fix
an
burn
issue.
in, but I don't like it. I spent about half an hour trying to decide if I wanted the graphic filter on or off. So there's a filter that smooths out the pixels. I don't think it is as bad as some purists make it out to be. Having said that, I found the ideal thing for me was I actually made the game screen smaller because the pixels were literally like putting a strain on my eyes. And when I made it smaller, they kind of blended together better, and I
Yeah.
kept the pixel format. So that is just my personal taste, but I certainly wouldn't judge anyone for using the filter. I just found that I wanted to see the pixel art, which, for the record, I actually think this game has great pixel art as well. There's a lot
Oh, yeah.
of really good, like, yeah.
The art design in this game is great. They're definitely going for a Pokemon vibe, from like from the colors to like the sort of, well, it's not really a top down angle here. It's more isometric here. Just the vibe, they're clearly inspired by that, but it also might just be based on the target audience. That's how you create a game for them. With any game with a Saturday morning cartoon with that like kind of Saturday morning cartoon vibe is going to end up being in that same like caliber sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny in your preview for this, you mentioned that they designed this character, this version of Mega Man, so that he would be easy to draw. This is one of my favorite Mega Man designs. Like, I love the version of this character, like visually. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I love
sleek.
I love the little mouth guard that comes on when he's in combat.
Yeah,
I really like. Yeah, he's a really good version of this character. I have nothing bad to say about like that particular design. There's a couple we'll get into. There's a couple redesigns for Robot Masters where I was just like not a fan. But yeah, we'll get to them as we come.
yeah. So that's pretty much overall. Let's get into the beat for beat of this game. Let's deep dive ourselves in. Right away, I wrote, first note here, great start screen music. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
So this game does not waste time. Within the first 5 seconds, you already know the terrorist organization and their intent.
Michael. All right, so I grew up. I actually grew up playing custom robo games. I am weirdly like one of 8 people in the continental United States that is a fan of the Nintendo Custom Robo series. We all meet at a Holiday Inn once a year, have a great time. But like, I grew up with that, and especially playing this, I had always heard like the DS one was such a ripoff of Mega Man Battle Network. And now I'm like, oh yeah, 100%, like by a mile. It is absurd how much of a ripoff that game is. But even the GameCube one, which was kind of like more like edgelordy, you have to get your robot. Like, you don't start with it, and they kind of explain how this world works to you. Whereas this game is like, and you have a net navi, and it's called this, and go. Also, there's this terrorist organization called the WWW, which I'm only going to call the W3 after this, by the way, because that does not flow in conversation. It does not. No, if you're a terrorist organization, not to give any advice to terrorist organizations, but you got to make your name like
make it snappy, make it catchy.
Yeah, you can't like, yeah, sure, that looks fine on a CNN Chiron, but do you want to see freaking like Jake Tapper saying like on the WWW today? No, absolutely not. So yeah, I'm gonna call him W3 for what does it actually stand for again?
I was about to ask you. Do they even say?
There's like 18 acronyms in the first hour. It's like a lot.
I have them here. PET. There's the net, but the net's all capitalized, so I don't know if that stands for something. We know PET stands for Personal Terminal, which kind of makes sense. The town's name is ACDC.
Okay, yeah, I love that. Famously, if you don't know, listeners, Mega Man, he's literally in Japan. He's called Rockman, and not
Yeah.
based on like a theme of like rocks. Literally, just the creators are like rock and roll music. That's why his sister's name is Roll. Like it's very musical themed.
So is Roll Mega Man's sister here?
Okay, let me talk about that. So let's get into this. Let's get
Yeah,
into this
okay.
right now because I have that note way down. This is like on several pages of notes later, but I want to get into this now. I'm not comfortable not knowing if Roll and Mega Man are like going to be a couple in this game because it feels like that's the way they're leading, and they are brother and sister in the original game. So you create Rockman. They technically were. You know what? I'm not going to get into the whole lore of their creation, but the point is they're brother and sister, both created by Dr.
Okay.
Light. And again, they were supposed to be literally just Rock and Roll. And when they brought it over to America, they were like, he's Mega Man. Which, for the record, the Mega Man comics they did recently, Archie Comics, written by Ian Flynn, who is now like the writer for like the Sonic comics and the Sonic games, actually. He did a great Mega Man series, and that kind of like officially established the canon that like, well, his name is Rock, but when he became Mega Man, or when he got the Mega Buster to do combat, he started going by Mega Man. So technically, they still call him Rock. Anyway, so moving to this, yes, let's discuss Roll and Mega Man. I am not a fan of the fact that they are not established as brother and sister because it means they could potentially end up as a romantic couple, and I really, really don't like that, Michael.
Do not like that. No, I was
I'm not a
content
fan.
going, oh, they're like sort of, they have a crush on each other, and kind of flirting back and forth, but
yeah,
no.
I don't like it because their owners. Again, it's kind of weird, the whole AI thing. The owners are, not brother and sister. They are clearly the romantic pair because he is the boy and she is the most typical early 2000s kids anime like girl character.
Yes.
She could not be. Which, by the way, is her name Male?
Male, M-A-Y-L.
Because, okay, I watched the first 5 episodes, but next time we do this show, I'm going to watch like a couple episodes of the anime. But I watched like the first 5 minutes, and I think they call her like Maley or something. Like they don't call her Male, and I think they realized it was weird to just call a young girl Male all the time.
I thought it was Meryl, and then I realized there was no R in there. So, I love the vibe here. Lan wears his roller skates in his own home.
Oh, he's got them wheelies, dude. He's got those wheelies.
There's also the fact that you have kind of an absent father. You never see him. He's always at work, and he feels bad for being at work, so he keeps sending you gifts. We're still in the first 10 seconds of this game.
This is such a nuts beginning. So yeah, you just like get told, here's how this world works. And it isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just very funny that yes, like, all right, we don't have an intro that says like, oh, in the year 20XX, like we developed like these kinds. It's like, oh no, this is just like what the world is. And yeah, obviously, listeners and fans, you guys know, obviously it's like LAN, obviously internet name. I think mail is intended to be like email. They're very like leaning into the net culture at the time. This whole game is just big early 2000s internet vibes in a very fun way.
So you meet up with Mail. She's waiting on you, even though you're like late. And Mega Man is kind of a sarcastic dick.
Oh wait, not only is Mega Man kind of a dick, which is again, you can do what you want. Very out of character though for like the old Mega Man, but that's fine. Again, new series. Is Lan schizophrenic? Because he's talking to Mega Man, and no one else acknowledges Mega Man. But is that just happening all the time? Like, are people essentially now what we would think of as like a Bluetooth conversation where it looks like you're not talking to someone, but you are? Is that what's going on here? I was very confused. Who can hear Mega Man and who cannot?
To their AI, partner. Like everyone probably has a earpiece in that they're always connected because this is a very integrated into the internet world, and everyone's always online. So I imagine you always have like an AI in your head. So your AI representative or your avatar for the net is always in your ear talking to you. So there's a bit where Mel's like, come on, we want to talk before school. And Mega Man says, she's going to talk and you're just going to listen because that's how this always goes. And you're like, what? Whoa!
I think you even respond like, shut up. And it's like, wait, does Mel think you're saying shut up to her? Like, what is... Yeah, it's a very bizarre relationship. and it feels like everyone's doing this, but you don't hear anyone else talking to their net navies. And
There's a guy who really wants you to know about his guts, man. Though.
okay. So I want to talk about that kid real quick. So,
Okay.
so by the way, one of the notes I have, because you go to school, right? That's like the first thing. You go to school.
Your first
and-
class is how to run antivirus software.
which is so fucking funny. But like, the first kid, I talked to a generic kid, and my first note here is like, ooh, the first non-main character sprite is hideous. Like, these are some ugly children.
Yeah,
They
these
are
look
really
like the Canadians from South Park.
They do. Okay, there's the one with the big mouth and the one with the giant forehead. So
Yes.
there's like one that looks like he's got a South Park Canadian. He's got like this fish mouth, basically. And then there's these giant forehead kids that like look like fucking the leader from Marvel's like Hulk comics. Like it's the scariest fucking child. He kind of looks like Bob's Burgers, regular size Rudy, but if
Yes.
you blew up the interior of his head.
Oh my god.
It's so weird, but yeah. So that kid is ugly. This whole class teaches you the combat, but then you get to talk to like the Gutsman kid. Now I want to note that the Gutsman kid seems to be designed to look like Bomb Man from Mega Man 1.
Okay, that went over my
I
head.
think that's what they were going for. And yeah, then you could fight Gutsman as well. By the way, I will say Gutsman, I really like that design. That is one of the cool like reinterpretations of a classic Mega Man design.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, yeah, you just go to school and learn antivirus shit. No one learns history. No one learns English or fucking like social studies, or like earth science.
And there's mumblings about how all of a sudden ovens are just catching fire all across ACDC. And you're like, okay.
Which I want to note, there's a lot of stuff about this game in terms of how it views the internet and technology that has actually aged very, very well, like surprisingly well. One of which is that, like, remember when was it Samsung's phones were just catching fire in people's hands? But it just felt like we would talk about like, oh yeah, you hear about like people's phones are catching on fire. Like it felt like that. It did just feel like
because everything is connected to the internet, therefore everything can catch a virus. Well, it makes sense that antivirus programming it. Basically, everybody in this world knows how to do basic antivirus. They call it like virus busting, I think is what they say.
I think they do. They specifically say virus busting, which I gotta be honest, wasn't a fan of that. That was one of the terms where I was like, not. You could have taken another swing at this one.
Yeah, there could be another swing at this. I do like the bit where you press R to jag in, and it's the classroom in the net, and everyone's there, including the teacher. That's a great reveal moment there.
Yeah, I genuinely like a lot of just the idea that everything is a smart device. Again, very like aged very well. Everything in this world. We joked about jacking into a vase earlier, but that's the idea. Is like, no, even this vase is a smart device.
This vase has Bluetooth.
Which means it can be hacked.
You can play music out of this vase.
Genuinely one of those things that like, no, they were correct. Every single tech pitch is like, what if you had a coffee cup, but it was connected to the internet, and it was like that's every single tech pitch. Well, speaking of, so that's one of the things that is. Like, again, they couldn't have known this, but calling the fact that it's called like W3 or www, all I kept thinking was in our real world Web3, which is the supposed like next internet where it's all going to be like decentralized blockchain crypto bullshit. Making that the terrorist organization name, A+, guys, A+. Couldn't have made something that would age better. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
And the fact that like the big terrorist organization is doing all of their activity on the net, like that's the thing to control. It's no longer about controlling individual like locations and people. It's about controlling the net because that's where all the power is. That's where everything is connected. If you control the net, you control the world. It's the Spice from Dune is what I'm saying.
No, but I mean, that's not how far off, like, a lot of modern tech, like, tech freaks, I say tech freaks, tech billionaires, whatever the fuck, that's how a lot of them pitch this. I listened to a good interview with Dan Olson, who has done those videos about the NFT, like, the problem with NFT is the one that's, like, 2 hours long, and he also did a metaverse one recently, and I'm just kind of, like, cribbing from what he said, but essentially, like, for a lot of the modern tech CEOs, like your Zuckerbergs or what have you, their thing is that like they wanted, if they could get a time machine, as he puts it, they would go back and stop like WWW from being open. Essentially, they would
Yeah.
make it a walled garden where they control every aspect and control the pricing of it. And that is like the modern tech billionaire. And again, I think weirdly, this game ages like very well because it just kind
Yes.
of leans into this very free, like someone taking over the free internet. And that's what Web3 is. So I don't know if you got listeners are going to be. That's all Web3 is. It's just locking people out. It's all bullshit. Uh, yeah, I found that again not one of those where it's like I think the smart device thing you could totally see coming. I just found the naming and like the plan very funny in retrospect, where it's like, oh yeah, no, they were on the money on that one.
Yeah, and they do have physical agents that are assisting with this, because this happens when you go home and there's a repairman in your house. It's just like, your thermostat's acting up. I'm here to fix that, and I'm just going to go ahead and virus-proof your oven to make sure that it doesn't catch fire.
Okay, can I just note this? This was one of my first notes too. The guy who repairs the thermostat in your house, he has he's one of the villains, and it's very clear.
Yeah.
He has the exact same scheme as the villain in the film Barbarian does in the flashbacks. Of like, I'm going to pretend that I am helping someone because of like some emergency, and I'm also secretly like going to leave the door open so I can sneak in later. If you haven't seen the film Barbarian, great horror film, but that's like I was like, this is literally just the plot of the flashback from Barbarian.
Except with so I saw someone make this joke. Jesse Cox is doing a game club of this game like 2 or did one, and because I'm now I get some Mega Man talks because of how the algorithm works because of the net. I got this joke from him when I was playing, even though I made the same observation. So a repairman comes to a house with an absent father and then says, "I gotta do some more repairs," and your mom's like, "Hey, go to your room or leave. I don't care."
Yeah, man. There's some weird stuff. Some very weird stuff in this game. I think we'll both agree.
So you go on the internet, and the way it looks is there's a bunch of spinning lowercase e's in the background.
Dude, oh god, yeah, when you have to like just again jack into the net. So what is it again? You have to find like a lost program, right?
Yeah, and this gives you this is your tutorial on how kind of dungeons work and how you can go to the in between missions or chapters. You can kind of like explore, go to people's homes and jack into their technology and create like sort of a pathway once you have their address, like at YAI straight. I found this straight program. You are able to basically fast travel through the internet, even though it's much slower to travel that way than to just go to their house.
So I gotta be, dude. That's one of the things, because I'm also like, okay, wait. So these net navies are operating on the same time like that we are. It's not like one of those where like, oh, it's gonna be seconds to you, but like hours for me.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I actually think would have been more interesting. But I gotta be honest, man. This has the Zelda Phantom Hourglass problem where they create like a central dungeon that you're gonna keep going back through and unlocking more of. But it sucks to keep going back through it and fighting the same guys over and over again.
Oh my god. Well, it's basically the second main dungeon, which you explore a lot of. We'll get to that once we get to that. But besides that,
basically
I think I've only
like
gone back to there like once to deliver the email, and then that's pretty much it. I'm hopeful that we don't spend a lot of time there in the second half.
Man, yeah, it's very annoying. Also, there's a guy just like selling stuff. Do you think like Mega Man is just like on like the fucking dark web picking up like some weird shit? Because like there's just a guy who's like, hey, I can hook you up with some health boost or whatever.
You need some chips.
Yep.
Like, sure, man. So we head downstairs because Lan's mom is freaking out because the oven is on fire. So instead of calling anybody, Lan's just like, I'm going to take care of this. So you jack into the oven, and I like
to be clear, the door is locked. I do want to note that the door actually is locked. I think he kind of hacked the whole house. Because if you try to leave, he's like, oh, it's locked from the outside.
I didn't try to leave, so I just went right in there, so I didn't notice that detail. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. So you have to depend on your own devices. That'd be funny if Wayne's just like, all right, bye.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to stick around, Mom, you can. All right, fuck you. Yeah, I noticed that. I do think, like, okay, this was actually, yeah, this is again like, okay, wait, where do I go? Because I mean, that makes sense. I'm like, okay, jack into the oven or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with this one. That one made sense. And that kind of teaches you that always be on the lookout for where things are, and that dungeons are going to kind of appear in these objects here. So be on the lookout for things. And there's another one,
which I think is a fun idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think it's a very fun idea. Yeah.
And I like there's little kind of robots here guarding the way, and they serve the NPCs of the dungeon. And how these work in all the dungeons are programs that are trying to protect. They're basically like firewall systems that are like, everything's broken, fix it. They're kind of like signposting, but they're just NPCs. Yeah. But they make sense which makes sense. They would kind of have rudimentary, repetitive dialogue because they're a part of the operating system.
It totally makes sense. I just want to note that, like, I'm confused as to which AIs are just like, because actually I remember distinctly in Mass Effect they had to make a fun distinction of like, okay, there's like virtual intelligence, which is very limited, and AI is like, no, it is full on like in its own being. And I have to hope that these guys are supposedly like the former, because you walk in this like, oh, a lot of these guys are dead. Like all of their hopes and dreams have just vanished into the ether because they are now just dead. Like, and literally the phrasing is no longer functioning. They just keep saying that, and I'm like, okay, so I think I'm supposed to interpret it as like they got fucking knifed. Yeah, they died. They burned alive. This is a brutal. Yeah.
Another thing this kind of teaches you. This is a great tutorial dungeon. I really like this dungeon.
I like the oven dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah. So what it teaches you is whenever you reach a sort of blockade in this dungeon, you have to back out and go to the real world. So you're not just like cramped in one space. There's a constant going back and forth. And where I think the game is at its best is when you're going back and forth.
I think that's very fun. I'm with you.
Having to keep the real world and the dungeon kind of in your mind and going back and forth and doing things. The second dungeon sort of does this too. Whenever
second dungeon does it in a dog shit way.
Yeah, in a firewall, and then you have to explore the real world for clues to help you bypass and get the passcode.
I apologize, not the second dungeon. I'm thinking the ice dungeon. That's where I was. Yeah, but yeah. So you get to the end of this oven dungeon and you fight Fireman. I gotta say, in the original, he was probably my least favorite Robot Master design, and that kind of is still true. I feel like they can't get Fireman right for some reason.
Trying to find a picture of Fireman.EXE. He's kind of got thing going on. He has like, sort of a chimney head. He has 2 fire cannons. He looks all right here. I don't know.
I'm not a fan. He doesn't look terrible. I was just like, oh, I'm just not a fan of this.
He's fine. I think the problem's more in the sprite versus the design here.
Maybe
the design is cool. So
yeah, but Fireman is also just a fun boss fight. So also I want to note that I want to note that I thought it was gonna be it was just gonna be the Robot Masters from the original, which is only 6, and it's Fireman, Iceman, Electman, Gutsman, Cutman, and Bombman. And again, the kid looks like Bombman. We see Gutsman right away. We have Fireman. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And as you noted, though, the next one's gonna be Stone Man, who's from like Mega Man 5. And I kind of wish they just stuck to the theme of like, with some rare exceptions, we're just doing the original 6 Mega Man
Except no,
bosses.
Dungeon 2. Stone Man's out of nowhere. The next one's Number Man.
Right. I'm okay with them creating new ones, though. I totally would rather,
Yeah, and as someone with no basic knowledge, like, a lot of the ones from other Mega Man games appear to be, like, the optional boss fights. Like, you fight Skullman in a boss fight, in an optional boss, and you fight Skullman's
design is so good in this.
I love it. I love that boss.
I think that was the one where I lost it. I'm like, that's a great redesign.
I will blanket statement now. Every boss fight is good. I've liked every boss fight.
I would agree with that. I can't think of a boss fight where I truly was like, fuck this. The dungeons are more where the dungeon layouts are the things I have problems with. Yes. But the actual combat, largely I enjoy, especially the bosses.
The dungeons are this game's Achilles heel. When they're good, they're great. when they're bad, they ruin the entire experience, especially the random battles, which I teased it a bit, but one way I was able to I found my conspiracy because I played for an hour in the ice dungeon and kept getting more random battles. When I played the next day, I felt like, wait a minute, I can walk more than like 10 steps without triggering a random battle. Then I discovered, I was like, let's just try this. So whenever the battle count got a little too much, I just reset the game, and then I was able to walk a little bit further. So I don't know if like just the RNG was on my side starting at that point, resetting the game, like resetting the pool or whatever. But so now like whenever I'm running into more random battles, also save every single chance you get.
I said, yeah. Oh my god,
constantly. Because
that I don't fault the game for. It was just back in the day. It's like, we're not doing fucking autosave. You take care of this.
And
in
because
fact,
of the random
I'd
battles,
rather have this where you could save anywhere. There's not like a save point. You could save at any time.
Yeah, that's great too. Oh my god, that would kill me, and I probably wouldn't have finished the section if I couldn't just save anywhere. Because there's so much. I can see why people wouldn't like this game, because there's so much RNG from what's in it, when you're gonna get an encounter, what enemies are gonna be in that encounter, and what cards you're going to draw at first draw. It's possible you can be in front of enemies that you hate fighting, like those ghosts. I hate the ghosts so much. I can't consistently hit them with anything. They'll appear. I finally got the rhythm down where I can dodge their attacks and everything. But it's possible that to die quickly, you're either going to win handedly or you're going to die fast.
Yeah, oh my god. Sometimes I had a couple, I think it was like, I'm not sure exactly when I first died, but I have it in my notes somewhere. We'll get to it, but I was just like, oh yeah, you can die, like if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's your health because you don't have some attacks will give you a little cooldown window, but some attacks will can just stack on top of each other. So if you're hit with two powerful attacks in the same frame, your health will go from like 150 to 0 instantly. So you gotta be careful and time your dodges right. So
yeah.
So we beat Fireman. But first try of this game is fun. So beat the Repairman, but he claims that the mission is finished because this was step 1 in WW's plan, which I guess this was their test to see if they could hack into
I gotta level with you, man. I don't think they thought this one through. I don't think this was the best thought out plan. W3 as a terrorist organization, I have notes. I feel like I'm giving too much like encouragement to terrorists. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is just say like they could do better. Okay, no, don't isolate that clip. Just like I'm just saying that like doesn't matter.
He tells you, I wrote a quote here because I was baffled. I found the plan in the oven in your house. I probably shouldn't have told you that. I wrote, why is the plan in the oven?
Dude, it's like I don't know. They really have to justify some of this stuff.
Soon a war will start and you will all be dead. I'm like, what is their plan? Kill us all or capture the net?
The W3, listen, they're a land of contrasts.
They're like dead cells. Team. None of them can agree on a motivation.
They can't. Dead cell. They cannot freaking. Yeah. Yeah, W3 is a weird one. It is, again, classic, like, early 2000s. The evil organization does whatever the plot, or wants whatever the plot needs them to want. You know, It's like, it's some Team Rocket, like, wait, do they want all Pokemon, or do they just want to, like, control, like, business? Like, what are we going for here?
What is their plan? Different sects have, like, different, motivations and different plans and schemes, which I think Wily, because they try to frame it as like a plot twist, even though it's the most obvious thing that Wily is behind this organization.
Yeah. There's a famous joke about like in every Mega Man X game, it has to be Sigma as the villain. So even when they try to be like, who could this be? It's fucking Sigma. We all know it's Sigma. Why are we pretending it's not Sigma? Like, why are we even going through this charade if at the end it's just going to be Sigma?
Did you do anything after the Fireman boss fight? Because this is a chance you can like explore the town, go to people's houses.
I think I was just kind of going to people's houses in general, but I don't really think I did just like go to bed or whatever.
Okay. I went to Mel's house, who straight up said, there's a funny bit here where she's like, hey, don't snoop in my room. And then you can just go upstairs and snoop in her room.
Oh, no, I do remember that, actually. Yeah, I did that, and it's like, okay, yeah, here's your room. Nothing special here.
So always save before jacking in anywhere, because you never know what you're going to get in terms of dungeon, but you can just save anywhere, so then it cuts to several days later. The
timeline in this game is also fucking, like, wild.
Yes.
We are constantly moving forward to a degree. And I thought this would be, okay, this makes sense one time. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And like they said, first test, it's a tutorial, we're getting used to it. But after every major event, they'll be like, 7 weeks later. And it's just like, wait, what? And, yeah. You have to go to school, right? This is where, like, it's just like, oh, go to school for the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's dude. There's a quick outline, because there's a dude standing in front of the school at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's very.
And it's just like,
yeah, he just says, ha, and then lands late for school again. You had something you wanted to say?
Well, it's just, I wrote down here, can't find my way around this fucking school. It's the first day of kindergarten all over again.
Yes.
Because my first day of kindergarten, I had been shown the school before my first day. On my first day of kindergarten, I forgot where to go. And then, like, the halls filed out, and I was the only one in the hall, and I just started crying. And, like, some fifth graders found me and found out where my class was. But I'm like, no, I'm having flashbacks.
Oh, man.
It's like... I don't know. The layout of the school... It was
makes no sense.
Okay. I was getting really tired of Mega Man telling me where to go.
So if you go northwest down a hallway, then you'll come out the other side and be facing the same way that you went into it. But it's supposedly the same school, but flipped prospectively. It's weird, and it's hard to wrap your head around the light.
There's a couple times that happens with these buildings. Later when we get to, like, the downtown area, where you're like, okay, wait, hold on. Which block is which? Because this block leads to this block. Yeah, I really had trouble with that, I'm not going to lie.
There's also the government building where the two places are connected to each other.
Okay, I was losing it at the fact that those two specific buildings are connected. They put a sewage treatment plant next to their, like, fucking robotics research lab. That is just... What design is this? Like,
who's zoned to AC/DC?
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing a double at the shit/robotics factory. Like, what kind of, like, work... Like, that is a weird group of people to be working together. Is like... Yeah, we had to filter out, like, all these, like, used condoms from the water, and the other group's like, we just developed, like, a new form of internet. I don't know if that's what water treatment people do, but, like, that's just... I apologize, that's what popped in my head. No. But, like, freaking... Okay, can I just say, like, yeah, the school is confusing, and I did not like that Mega Man keeps telling you, like, no, not that one. Not that... Every time I tried to go in a door, I was like, why don't you just... Like, yeah.
He's so hostile here. He's just yelling at you. He's yelling at you while you're trying to get to school, and the dialogue's moving so fast and you can't skip it. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah. I'm so, like, I was so frustrated. It's also like, go in the back door, that way you won't get noticed, which I'm like, okay, the few classrooms I had where they did have, like, the two doors, it's not like the teacher didn't notice the kid entering in the back.
For sure. And, like, it's this part where, like, class hasn't, like, started yet. You get there, and the dude in front of the classroom is obviously the sketchy dude from the chapter open. So I wrote, oh, this chapter is a how catch 'em, like Columbo. Because you know who it is, now we gotta figure out how we catch him.
Oh, yeah. No, it's so, like...
Oh, Lan, yeah. I got a note here. Lan, when he enters the classroom, says, sneak time.
Yeah, great solid Snake impression there, Lan.
Lan is an idiot.
Let's just talk about how Lan is a fucking idiot. Lan is one of the... Lan is so stupid. Just everything is staring him in the face at all times. He's got, like, this Mr. Magoo, like, constantly wandering into trouble and barely getting out of it. I love... We skipped over the oven thing, where he goes to get, like, a water gun to put out the fires that are engulfing the house.
An electrical fire, too.
Yeah, electrical fire, and he brings out, like, a squirt gun, like a super soaker or whatever. There's multiple points where Lan just doesn't know, like, what is going on at all.
I took a picture of one. I didn't think teachers had hobbies too, said Lan.
Oh yeah, there's so many Lanisms in this game, and I want to like write a poem just based on those when we're done with this. Lan is not my favorite. He's fine, but he's an idiot.
But oh yeah, the teacher here, the substitute teacher, starts going into the lesson and then says, "Hey, yeah, honestly, I'm not here to teach. I'm just here to trade some Bitcoin."
Dude, he really does. It is so like that. That part made me laugh too. He really is like, I don't even know how to teach, man. I'm just here to like, anyway. And then he leaves, and
Yeah.
then he like locks the door.
Yeah,
and
one student says he's a creep, but I'll trade chips with him anyway.
Yeah, which in fairness, yeah, it's like, listen, he's got moxie, okay? He's got that Battle.net moxie.
I don't trust him, but my guts man really needs an upgrade to his chipset.
Listen, man, sometimes you gotta hold your nose and just do that, all right? Otherwise, nothing would get done. But then he does turn on a like message. He basically turns on re-education videos, which I gotta note that none of these kids are like. This isn't like Clockwork Orange where they have their eyes forced to watch this. They don't have to watch it, and half of them are not. But yeah, it's basically like W3 is gonna rule. Like that's all that this message says, and you have to like. I think didn't you have to jack into like the blackboard or whatever?
Yeah, that's what you do. But before you do that, the Gutsman kid goes up and is like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this one."
Yeah. Oh, he does. I love this kid.
Will stop him.
I love this shitty kid. I will say there was one of the kids, if you talk to in there, or it's one of the other classrooms that's playing the announcement, he says, quote, "I'm starting to like the announcement. Is that bad?" To which I wrote, that kid is going to be a fucking Nazi. That kid is going to be on certain Reddit pages that are going to radicalize him real fast, because he is not seeing through bullshit at all.
I mean, when you're going back and forth, there's some kids that are like, all hell the WW, so...
Yeah, and adults. You talk to some adults who are like, this is great. Again, it aged very well, where you're like, this wouldn't work on anyone, would it? And then you're like, oh, apparently it does.
So you go into the internet, and it's dungeon time again, boys and girls. The internet looks weird now, even weirder than it did before. So you're going back and forth to find answers to passwords here. Chairs in the room is one where they're like, this gate is blocked by how many chairs are in this room.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the passwords in this. All right, let's talk about password security. Modern security is two-factor verification or whatever it's called, right? You have your password, and then you have a thing that like sends to your phone, and then you have to confirm on that. This password is just like enter 2 digits. There are exactly 20 possible options that like this, or not really, I guess there's more, but like there aren't that many options that this could be. Like you could just guess to get into this.
How many number of history book volumes are there?
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, what if they're not all in today? Also, it doesn't require like, I guess they are numbers, but I wanted it to be like, no, I need like a special character as well. I need lowercase and uppercase. Also, the password has to be 8 characters long. No, none of that. And then eventually just says, it's instead of coming up, because I actually, again, it's a simple puzzle, but I think it's fun, especially for a kid's game, to be like, okay, go out into the real world, count this, and report back.
I like that a lot.
I think that's a fun idea. I didn't like it where it was like, I don't know, just guess and we'll tell you if you're too high or too low. That's one of the later, like, do you like that?
I like that.
Okay, I was just like, well, it feels like they ran out of steam designing the puzzles for this one.
The Price is Right fan in me likes playing higher or lower.
I see. What you got that, I don't remember which game that was, but I remember it.
I think it's called Higher or Lower.
Yeah. Hey, fun fact, did you know that Pat Sajak has been hosting Wheel of Fortune longer than Bob Barker hosted Price is Right?
I believe that.
Yeah. It's one of those where it's like he's just been doing it forever. Anyway, I just wanted to share that fact because also fun fact to everybody, at the time of this recording, Bob Barker is still alive.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone always he's one of those guys everyone thinks is already dead and has for like a decade. No, he is still very much alive, turning 100 this year, I think.
I do a Bob Barker check like every 6 months going, is he still alive?
Michael, I love you. I do that too. I want to be sure. I want to be 100% sure. That's how I center myself in the multiverse. I check to make sure Bob Barker is still alive.
There's one bit here that I like is the teacher, your main teacher, is captured and you need to get the ID password from her to advance to the last part of the dungeon.
Yes.
The sketchy, yeah.
Spoiler alert. Everyone's going to forgive the sketchy guy and let him open a shop in the middle of town. Can we note that he tied up the teacher and locked her in a closet?
I'll be good, I promise, he says. Trade
Yeah.
chips sometimes. Do they
Listen,
recognize it's him, or are they just like, it's a guy opened up a shop? Do people,
I think they know it's him. I think they say that later. They're like, oh, that guy who hijacked our school, yeah, he runs the chip shop. Like, they know who it is. And, like, I'm all for, like, the rehabilitation programs, but at the same time, I'm like, this feels like he was allowed to get off on this too soon.
He's on work release, that's what it is.
But, like, yeah, really fast, and everyone's very cool with it.
No, I don't know, maybe time jumped like 6 months or something.
Oh, you're right, I forgot that they were, like, 5 years later.
Something like
Lance still hasn't hit puberty.
So you reset the server to stop the re-education program. Mega Man says, you still got to go to English class now because you did it during the day. And Lance's like, oh man, I did it too soon.
Yeah. Classic, like, cut to the end credits. Yeah. I will note, by the way, 2 things, which is I started using Roll at this point. That is a great Roll redesign. I really like that character design. Number cool. Man... Oh, I feel stupid. I wrote in my notes that I really liked the mechanics for that fight, even though I don't remember them. But I really remember enjoying the Number Man fight.
So you can fight him after every chapter, because in
you can go to the place. Yeah,
in the chip shop, you can fight him every chapter. So he has 3 attacks that'll shoot pretty fast at you with a number, and every time you attack him, it's their damage value. So he's a really easy boss fight.
Yes, I liked that. I thought that was a fun, again, it worked really well for this combat system. I thought it was fun.
I use his chipset a lot. I have like 3 number men in my deck.
Oh, I don't have any. I should get that started then.
Yeah, so what the number man ability is, his dice ability, it's on N, so there's a bunch of stuff it can match with. So you roll the dice, and whatever it lands on, it does that times 10 everybody on that side damage. So if you have 2 and roll 2 6s,
I'm getting
you can
Number
do
Man after this
damage.
recording's over.
Number Man is great. His ability
is
really good.
Nice.
So,
but yeah, can I note something else? Because yes, the English joke. Then you can like leave the school, right?
Right.
I looked at the statue because it's like, there's a bronze statue of the principal and it says, quote, "It was a gift from a mysterious group at the school opening." I'm gonna date this podcast. I apologize, Michael, but to topical joke, that is some Clarence Thomas shit. That is some like weird ass bribery shit that like I've never even heard of. Anyway, I was like, I think that's also literally in the case of something that happened. Anyway, not important. Just wanted to do my topical humor there. I'm working on my bit.
Glad we could workshop it for you.
Thanks for helping me workshop, audience. Listen, like, comment, and subscribe if you thought that was a good bit. If you didn't think it was a good bit, please like, comment, and subscribe to tell me to fuck off with the topical humor.
So there's a fun bit here, recurring gag. There's an old man outside who will, if you talk to him in chapter 1, he says, "This town's name is AC/DC." And then if you walk out again, he says, "How many times do I have to tell you this town's name is AC/DC?" Just like, you stupid kid. Stop asking me what the town is.
There's some great NPC dialogue. There's some very fun NPC dialogue.
100%.
I also wanted to note, because you can get Fireman, right, as well. Like, you can go into the internet, get him. I just kind of realized at this point... Oh, he's great. He's one of my favorite. He's like an important part of my team. But I do want to note that like him, Gutsman, Roll, like Number Man, like you said, one thing I find funny, and again, it's the Final Fantasy thing, they basically are just summons in Final Fantasy. Because they get a special animation. 100%. They're much more powerful. They really are like, as much as this is more of a tactical thing, like they did take some RPG stuff, and it's so explicitly like they are summons.
Yes, and they're always great to have on your team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The downed Metro is next. We get a message from Lan's dad, who says, "I got some chipsets for you that'll make Mega Man really powerful." So you're like, we're finally going to meet Lan's dad. Spoilers, we do not. So we go back home to Jack and Annette to find information on the train attack, because you get to the Metro line and discover that there was like a cave-in?
Yeah, okay, so I did note, this is the first point where I had to use a guide. Because went to the Metro line, because that's where you go, and then it's like, oh wait, there's an issue. And I'm kind of like, okay, what do I do about this? I didn't realize you could like hack into the train system from your home computer. So this is where I pulled out Emperor Justinian I's walkthrough on GameFAQs to like find out, okay, what the hell am I supposed to do here? And this would happen a couple times later as well, where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize you could just like do this.
So this is where we fight Stone Man, because it's just like a little short trek. Here's the third boss of the game, and that's it.
Yeah, Stone Man, by the way, that redesign, I don't really care either way. It's not like he was ever one of my favorites.
I forgot about
this
him.
one.
I forgot the section exists until doing my notes going, well, there was a third boss. What, who was he again? And there's like, oh yeah, Stone
and you're right.
Man.
It's just out of nowhere. But again, you have to trudge through this section of the net that you've already been through.
I wrote, everything looks the same and I have nowhere to go.
Yep,
that's just a good
100% correct. Hey, Michael, you know what I wrote down here? I wrote, boy, all this stuff looks the same.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, this, everything here looks exactly the same and I have no idea where I'm supposed to go.
And then I wrote, we came all this way for nothing because Land's dad doesn't have the chip.
Yeah, I think, Michael, I'm going to be honest. I'm looking at my notes, and I'm kind of wondering what was going through my headspace. At some point during this, like, going to this robotics facility or whatever, or, like, software development, whatever you want to call it, I wrote down, thinking about the movie Her. I was just thinking about the like, what was it, like, 2014 or whatever, Joaquin Phoenix film Her, about him falling in love with Scarlett Johansson AI. Don't know why I was thinking that at the time, but apparently I was.
So all your notes is now about Scarlett Johansson in the movie Her.
No, it was not, all right? It was about Joaquin Phoenix's weird little mustache in that movie.
Okay, that makes more sense, actually.
Yes.
So that's it for Section 3.
Oh, I felt really proud of myself. Oh, yeah, well, he's not there, but, like, you need his ID, right? Or am I skipping ahead?
This is all this section, I think. So, you go on the internet, you fight Stone Man, and then you can go to, this is where you go to the government complex. This is what starts this Iceman section, which is the longest section in the entire game. There's a lot of build up to it. It's like they flipped the script
this
here.
Section goes.
Yeah, it's like they flipped the script here and put the boss at the beginning instead of the boss at the end of this next section. Because this is where you go do the government facility stuff. So
I know that we've already said it, but this bears repeating. This is the worst section we've played so far.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
It's really rough. So I will say, when I realized I had to get the dad's ID to, like, access the elevator, I felt really proud of myself. I'm like, haha, I didn't need you, Emperor Justinian. Fucking the Byzantine Empire will stand for another day or whatever. I'll fucking go and get the ID myself. And I realized I had to get the ID to, like, access the elevator. But, oh wait, I forgot that the whole reason we were doing this was because of the water supply, which, by the way, is...
The story bit here is really good. This is where I think we start to get our kind of gameplay loop. Everything feels so scattershot of what you're supposed to be doing here, but this feels like we have our true gameplay loop. We have our issue. We solve as much as we can in the real world. Then we go to the net and go back and forth in the dungeon and then fight the boss. Because the next section plays a lot like that too. So this is 1 month later, just after the down metro. All of a sudden, a month passes.
Yeah.
And
we're just moving along. Nothing has changed in anybody's lives at all. I would love it if, like, they were like 2 months later and one of the kids is like, you don't know this because we did a time skip, but, like, fucking my mom died. I don't want that. I'm just saying that, like, it would just be like, I want, like, a dramatic thing to happen in between these time skips. Because nothing, it feels very bizarre how much time we skip over.
It's just skipping to the next thing. But I guess they figured it'd be weird if all these happened one right after another, but that's what you're playing anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. Time skip was, like, unnecessary.
So inconsequential. So it's like, this bit is kind of a repeat of Chapter 1, because Land forgets he has Saturday school, Mel's waiting for him outside, and you walk and talk with her to school, so it's very much in line with... I wrote, why is class not canceled immediately? They have the net. Why aren't emails going out saying there's no water, class is canceled?
Yeah, what they can and can't do with the internet in this varies from what the plot needs, which is fine.
Yes.
But it is very much like I'll tell you why. They actually did cancel school through the email, but the one freaking like mailman robot had to run around through the net and try to email all these kids by handing them physical/digital notes that said school was canceled. And you know what? It's a lot of them live far from each other on the physical like internet space. So that's probably what happened. Again, I cannot emphasize how weird that scene will be later when you have to go hand and envelope to roll.
Another weird thing here is that the class is like in session, and Gutsman kid just says, "We have no water," and the teacher says, like, quote, "Be quiet." I was like, this is a huge concern.
I forgot about that. I forgot. Look, man, we're all suffering. All right, it's hard on all of us.
So the kids in class, after they already come to school, after they have the metaverse, do their phones work? So starting this chapter the correct way by beating Gutsman. How you start every chapter. You just fight Gutsman.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is where the terrorist dude is the chip salesman.
No, the chip salesman, he's reformed.
Yeah. He's no longer
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
This is where it happens. And this is where... So, one of the optional bosses, this is where I finally beat Woodman. Going back, Woodman is tough.
Wait, Woodman's in this game?
Yeah, he's an optional boss fight.
Are you kidding me? I didn't find him.
At the government facility, there's like a sales lady who has like a lemonade stand equivalent. Talk to her and she'll be like, "You want to fight Woodsman?" I went, "Sure." He is tough. Woodman is tough.
I love him in Mega Man 2. He's just a goofy like tree stump. Let me see. Ooh, I'm okay with it. I'm looking at this design now. I like it actually. You know what? I like this design a lot.
Woodman.EXE. Yeah, it's good design. Tough boss.
Damn, man, I'm so bummed out now.
Because he can heal himself. That was a rough fight, but I finally did it.
Oh God, that's cool.
So yeah, this is where
I did not fight him.
Woodman. You fought Skullman though, so you fought the other optional boss here.
Yes.
Where was
all right,
I?
so
I lost my place.
Well, so then we end up going to government facility. Is this where we sneak in? Well, we meet Proto Man, right?
No, that's not where we meet Proto Man's like guy who just says he's a net battler.
Right.
That's it. Not like Virus Buster, net battler.
I cannot stress enough how much I enjoy young characters with white hair. That is one of those, like, especially in anime tropes that I just love.
Yep.
So I wrote down, like, this is the coolest person in the game so far.
He is cool. He's basically basically an internet cop who goes in and deals with net crime, is what they call it.
Yeah, I love the white hair. Also, when we get to Proto Man, I love this Proto Man design. Really, really cool.
He looks cool. He has like the scarf, right? And like
think it's here. I'm gonna look him up real quick. I just mainly think he's got kind of a Zero style long ponytail.
Oh, that's what it is. It looks like the sprite makes it look almost like a scarf.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Yeah, he's got the he doesn't have a scarf, but yeah, he's got that
white hair.
He's kind of like a mix between original Proto Man and Mega Man Zero. But actually, again, really like a lot of these designs.
Sunglasses. Oh yeah, the designs. Most of the designs in this game are really good. This is where you get the ID. You go and you're trying to, because you naturally are the one who's like, we're gonna fix the water crisis, guys. You go up to the CEO and the CEO says, "It's just a glitch, it'll be fixed soon."
Yeah,
so,
which, that's corporate speak for everyone fucking panic.
So you hide in your dad's office till everyone leaves. And, Proto Man, this is where you go and enter the ice dungeon for the first time, which is at the water cooler to access the ice dungeon.
Yes, which again, very funny entrance point that you enter the ice dungeon through the water cooler.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. So let's get into why does this dungeon suck so much? Couple reasons. Number one, I just want to go over a couple just things off the top of my head. Number one, like all the other dungeons, it suffers from very similar repeating paths or very similar looking paths. So there's a lot of points where you're like, wait, hold on, where was I going this way or going that way? Number two, as you noted, lots of random encounters with very annoying enemies. Number 3, the turning things off and on. There's a lot of spigots you need to turn on and off, and it's confusing. It genuinely confused me. I'm like, wait, what does it do? And that character explains to you what it does, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm an adult man. I still don't understand what these do. I don't know how a kid figured this out. Good for them.
They explain, if you leave, the water will still be there, but the ice will be gone.
Okay, that explanation was like so... It was so like, okay, here's my riddles 3 for you, like a bridge troll. It's like, okay, so if you put the water, if you stop the spigot, then it'll clear up, but if you leave, it'll start back up. But if it was the opposite, it'll not do that. It's like, wait, hold on, I don't, and so I just tried to never leave as much as I could because I was too scared of what would happen. I will also be 100% honest and say that like this is where nailing the exact pixel on which to like walk onto to slide across some of these ice floors at the right angle was killing me.
I hate it so much.
So it is literally like, no, you have to stand on this. If you are off this pixel by half a pixel, you are not making it. And then you got to start all over again. Yeah.
You got to do 5 random battles to get to the part where you're at. Also, this is where I realized, what is the leveling up system in this game?
I have no idea, Michael. I have no idea what the leveling up system, I have no idea how it works. There is a very important reason that when you level up in typical like JRPGs, it takes you to a separate screen because it needs like, you get to know exactly what happens now.
I killed enough enemies, I got XP, I can do this. Now it's like, you have enough chips to do this garbage. I'm just like, and the levels are not 1-to-1. It's like, okay, I catch a chip, and now I'm level 11. How did this happen?
No, I also love that it's like, okay, first you could buy a health chip or acquire a health chip, and it just adds it automatically. And then at one point it's like, oh, you could buy or acquire this power chip. It increases your power. And I'm like, great. And only later did I learn, like, no, you have to apply it within the menu. The health ones get added automatically. You have to go into the menu and choose multiple options. Like, there's a charge beam in this game. By the way, from what I've gathered, again, maybe Battle Network pros can tell me I'm wrong. Don't invest in the charge beam. Seems like a ripoff. Just invest in making your buster more powerful as, like, the fire rate and just
all the long plays that I used when I looked up where to go, they all put all their points in that charge beam, though. So I don't know. Does it just make the charge beam
that's
faster?
What I'm saying. Battle Network pros. I bet Battle Network pros are like, Tanner, you fucking moron. This is why you don't compete in the Battle Network esports, the NetNav esports. All right. So that's my fault. I get it. But yeah, I wrote at one point, I'm just like, aiming for these ice paths is absurd. It is absurd that they expect you to be able to knock this one out. And also, if I didn't say it before, because it might have been off mic, it might have been on mic, but I just want to repeat, I turned the setting in the remastered version, I turned the setting for Mega Buster one-hit kill on for this section. Yeah, because I couldn't handle constantly having to walk back and just do a whole long fight sequence again. It was, man, this was ridiculous. And I put up with a lot of stuff in old games that I think is not very good. This was the most frustrating one for me in a while, this ice puzzle. Man.
The ice puzzle, specifically the one where you have to glide to get to the drop-down floor and then work your way up.
Michael, that section, that was the one where I turned it on.
Yeah, I had to turn it off.
If you haven't played this game, I just want to note that now. It's basically like you're looking at like bars, that forms a grid. It kind of looks like a grid.
Yeah.
However, you can only like slide on the icy bars, not on like. There's a bunch of holes in this floor, so you need to slide on the exact right bar, and there's like 12 to choose from, and they both go like different angles. And if it seems like I'm being confused, it's because I am. I still don't know exactly how I did it. Emperor Justinian was the one who's like, okay, go to this one and go to this one. And that is how you'll turn these things on that allow you to progress. I genuinely, that was the most angry I got at this whole game, was that section.
Yeah. Here's a note that didn't age well, because I'm at the beginning where you have to at the beginning of the dungeon seems fine. I really like this dungeon.
Ooh, boy.
That fell apart. After you beat the polar bear mini boss, it goes way downhill.
I think, for the record, I have done a lot of, again, old games. I have done a lot of ice puzzles. They can be good. I think Pokemon ones in particular are very entertaining. This is a very bad ice dungeon.
I hate it.
This is really annoying.
The second half kills this. Because then you're like, when you have to go back to the dungeon again and it doesn't tell you where you need to go. I went the entire same path I did to get to because it pulls you out of the dungeon after this polar bear mini boss. And after you have your encounter with, here's the net battler's name, Eugene Chod?
Okay, can we talk about this name as well? This name, what do we name the coolest character? First name, Eugene. Wow, that's kind of a lame name. Maybe it'll be a joke later that we say his name is actually Eugene. What's his last name? It's got to be something cool. Chod. Like, just absolutely awful naming. I'm sorry. Maybe there's a pun in there, by the way. Maybe there's a pun in there I do not realize.
Maybe. Something lost in translation.
But they keep calling him Chod, and I'm like, shut up. Stop calling him that.
So after this whole bit, after the polar bear boss, it pulls you out of the dungeon. Then you do some stuff around town. This is where like the water's purple and everything. We'll touch on that a bit. But when you get back to the dungeon, you assume I need to go back to that spot because that's where I pull it out. That's probably where I need to go and advance the dungeon. Nope, it loops back on itself, and you realize you were going the wrong way for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, again,
cool.
Cancer, like, there's so much repeating. There is so much, like, no, you need to go through the exact same dungeon again in order to do this. It really breaks the flow of it, especially because, like you said, this is a fun setup. I think it is a fun setup of, like, something in the real world has gone wrong. We have to hack into the machines and fix it. Yeah. I think it's a fun setup that gets dragged down, particularly in this section. I actually think the next section is, like, the most fun, but this dungeon was awful.
I do like the ramification it has for the real world, like the water being purple, people are drinking it because they've been thirsty so much, and then they just get nearly deathly ill. It's great.
It's good to have Eugene Chod, call Lan out for being an idiot, where he's like, well, you didn't think. Like, there was a reason the ice was there. I put it, like, we had it doing that so that this wouldn't happen, and you've just, like, made it worse. And Lan's
like, you dummy, worry. You didn't unfreeze the water flow, you unfroze the filtration system.
Yeah.
Or you unfroze the water without unfreezing the filtration system. So now the water's getting through unfiltered because you thought the wrong thing, you idiot.
Yeah, so I don't know if we have a Lan is an idiot counter, but, like, add this to the list.
That's like 10 there for making the whole down.
Yeah,
if you see a net cop go into the internet to stop the thing, maybe you should let him handle it first before you take matters into your own hands.
Here's where I will be on Lan's side. He saw a fellow 12-year-old who said, I'm a net cop. And I understand if you saw that, you'd be like, are you though? Are you really?
But he's cool. In any other anime, he'd be the protagonist.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I really, the teleporter stuff in the Ice Mage also awful. I couldn't keep track of which teleporter did what.
Oh my, yeah, for sure. And then you get there and you're like, I think this is the way I'm supposed to go. I don't know. It all looks the same.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Wait, hold on. So did we? Just remind me. Do we fight Iceman before we have to find the kid first, right?
Yeah, we go. This is where we go into the real world, and then we find
this was also
kid
like,
in a car.
How were you supposed to know in the year 2001, year of our Lord? How were you supposed to know how to do this? This was insane. Because again, makes sense. Okay, guy who is in charge of the water, his son has been kidnapped. You have to go save his son. The son is in a random car in AC/DC town. Is there any hint at all? I think I just followed the walkthrough.
I don't remember how I found this. I can't remember if I looked it up or what I did here in order to make this work. But
I was so frustrated with this dungeon design. Maybe there were hints. I just went straight to the walkthrough.
Yeah. Oh, man. I might have taken it bit by bit here because there was a point where the random encounters were happening so much to going, I can't get a feel for this dungeon layout, so I can't seem to do, like, anything.
Yeah. Yeah, man, there's just every time you think it's got something, this really was like every worst part of the game crammed into one section. I'm really hoping
Yes.
the second half doesn't have something like this. Knock on wood.
I hope so too. So, yeah, there's kind of it's kind of like a shroud of darkness here because from the CEO's perspective, his son is still kidnapped, and he thinks that the WWW is going to kill W3 is going to kill his son because of the whole because if they're stopping the terrorist thing, they have his son hostage supposedly. So I wrote.
So
The W3 is threatening to murder implied the CEO's son if they don't commit the attack. This is like Raiden fighting Solidus in Metal Gear Solid 2, except we have a letter from the son saying he's safe.
man, it's so like this turned from like weird like little neck crimes. Well, again, the W3 thing of like they keep making these jokes, and even their first crime of like trying to like use the oven to burn the house down. It's like, I'm sorry, he tried to burn that house down with people alive inside.
Yep.
Like they locked the doors. They weren't just doing this to be like, oh, they'll get out, then we'll just collect insurance money or whatever. But also I did find it like, and it was fine because again, it's another fun boss fight with Iceman. But I was like, oh, it's the classic superhero thing of like, this would all be solved if you just had a 2-minute conversation instead of launching into an attack.
You know what the tone of this game reminds me of? It just hit me. Like, kind of similar vibe, too. Did you ever watch Code Lyoko growing up?
I know of it. I never watched it.
Okay, so the vibe of that is, really quick touch on Code Lyoko. There is a supercomputer that hacks things in the real world, and then they gotta go into the computer program to turn off the supercomputer. They can't just turn off the computer completely because there is I'm getting really into the plot here, but there's someone living in there that they want to extract out, so they need to inside the computer. She has like a computer virus in her and everything. So, but anyway, so they always do bits where like the kids or someone in the world is like close to dying or before the levers pulled and then everything resets and everything's good again. Like there are bits where our main heroes are locked in the door to like a sauna and then the temperature keeps climbing. So they're about to die of heat exhaustion near the end of the episode. I'm like, this is like TV Y7 here.
Man, there's something about that time where it's just like, as long as it was an internet crime, it was not a real crime.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want, like, we're not that far away from, like, the W3 company being like, Lan, if you don't work for us, we're going to post revenge porn of your mom on the internet. It's like, we're escalating to, like, real crimes. Like, it's,
100%.
and yeah, it's like, oh, we're going to display a message on your school blackboard to, like, we've kidnapped a child and are threatening to kill him. Like, it's just so, W3, terrorist organization, I have some notes. Not that I would encourage any of it, I just have some notes.
Colorman's just chilling in the dungeon. You see him, you talk to him, he doesn't do anything, but we find out he's being led by the W3 lady who...
Look, big Jesse from Pokemon vibes, alright?
Yeah, Jesse from Pokemon vibes is correct here. So she announces that they stole something called the Water Program at their little group get-together thing. Mm-hmm. This internet terrorist organization is being, I think, in the real world and not the net, which is interesting.
Well, they know that they could be hacked on the net, you see.
That's true.
Maybe, I don't know.
So they stole something called the Water Program, and I wrote, is that Wily? It is, because you're like, who's that old man? That's Wily, right? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I do want to really quick say, the Iceman design, I'm mixed on. I'm okay with it. It shall suffice. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
He's kind of cute. I don't know.
He's a little too cute, I think.
He doesn't look very internet-y. He doesn't, like...
I think that's what it is. I just wanted, like, a more internet design, and I don't know. I'm okay with it, but I feel like they could have done another pass.
You need one cute robot master to sell toys.
Hey, listen, alright? Fucking Mega Man is a cool design. I really like that design.
Man's a cool design.
Yeah.
So, we have a shopping trip now.
Okay, let's talk. So, we're finally at the section we've been talking about over and over. Roll goes to visit Mega Man's, like, just to visit Lan and, Mega Man's avatar, whatever it is. She hands him a letter from mail asking to go shopping for that little kid's birthday. For the record, we haven't talked about. I like that little kid a lot. That kid's funny. Um,
Yeah.
the kid you're getting the present for. Yeah, I like that kid. So then this is where I got so confused because I went to the station and went downtown and explored downtown, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
couldn't keep track of what anything was.
I'm like,
I
we're
was
gonna
just
meet her
getting
here, right?
lost. No, one would think, right? Very simple, because when you read the original email, it says reply, yes or no, and you reply, and then it shows like what the reply is. And you're like, great. No, it turns out you need to, as Mega Man, go back to roll, and then go to the station. And by the way, this is also weird. You go to the station after that, and then you go to town, and then you have to go back to ACDC town.
Not only that, you don't necessarily have to do that. I went downstairs and then went back upstairs, and then she triggered to come and talk to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
I was
Weird.
baffled by the design in this. I really was.
But then Mail was like, "Oh, I had to deliver something to Grandma. See ya." And then you go into town alone.
Great friend. Fucking ditched me, dude. You go into town, you explore town, and then like, oh, you have to find an antique store, which took me forever. I'm not gonna lie, because I couldn't figure out that you could go up. I kept going left and right.
This broke me. So, the path to get to the other part of town was like every other dead end.
Oh my god, it was like, oh, you can't go through like dead end, and I'm like, well, what the fuck is? Again, the problem with these backgrounds and just locations looking so similar is that you just get lost. You just get completely lost, and this grid view didn't really help it. It wasn't great. I was very confused where to go for this like antique store. And once again, the kid explains to you what the blocks are, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot follow this.
Yep. I'm just gonna war of attrition it and then try to find the antique shop myself by checking every single stupid frickin' dead end in this game.
Yeah.
So get to the antique
I think there's
store.
also a movie poster for like Mission Impossible starring Tom Cruise. That was funny.
Yep. Yeah. Forgot what it was called, but there was actually a Mission Impossible analog.
Yeah. Aged very well, since we're about to get a new Mission Impossible movie in the year 2023.
So excited.
I'm stoked. I can't wait.
It's going to be the best cliffhanger of all time.
We are back to two-part Hey, movies are back. All right, we're back to two-parters.
Yes.
Oh, so into it. Yeah, so
I did fight Skullman. Cool boss.
Okay, yeah, Skullman design rules, dude. I love this Skullman design. It's also a really fun fight. Just another really fun fight. This was where I was really into the mechanics, though, because I adjusted my deck. I'll be honest, I forget exactly how I adjusted it, but I adjusted the deck accordingly. Because I was like, okay, well, these abilities will not help me here, so I gotta swap them out with these, which have a better shot.
I hope that the subsequent games in this series will allow you to have multiple decks, like multiple chip layouts, instead of just the one.
100%.
That it would go a long way. That'd be something. It's enhancing the strength of this game, not lifting up like a weakness in this game.
Agreed. I think, yeah, it's just like a minor thing, but I would appreciate that 100%, because I felt like this was where and again, as much as I'm complaining, there's stuff I enjoy. I really do like this card grid combat thing, because it does make you think strategically. And I was like, okay, here's the loadout I'm going to need to be Skullman in particular. Like, I'm going to need these abilities.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. But yeah, I beat him, and yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah. This is where we get the setup for the dungeon. You go to meet Mail where she says she's going to be, and the lights change to green. All the lights are green now.
So I would also like to note, this is the plot of Live Free or Die Hard. Like, I know I'm just citing movies that, like, came after this game, but, like, this is a scene from Live Free or Die Hard.
I wrote this as, like, Speed, because for some reason,
I wrote Speed as
something?
well.
They wrote exploding bus. I was like, why is the bus going to explode?
Okay, did you laugh as hard as I did when the lights all turn green and the first two cars collide and just explode on impact?
Yes!
Because I was losing it. I just started laughing my ass off, dude. I really did.
And the terrorists say, hey, we can give you an upgrade to fix this to not run red lights. It's only 1 million zenny.
Yep.
So they're
Which
like,
I haven't done the math. I would like to do the math and see how much one zenny is to like $1. I'm sure someone has done that equivalent.
why is Zenny? Zenny's like the currency in so many things. It's the currency in Street Fighter. It's the currency in Dragon Ball. Zenny's just everywhere.
I don't know. I thought I didn't know it was a Dragon Ball because I thought it was the Capcom currency. But you saying it's Dragon Ball as well is interesting. For what it's worth, I like that they named it instead of. I hate when something just calls it units. Like when a thing will just be like this many units, and
10,000
I guess
units.
credits is okay, but I would much prefer it just has a name like Zenny.
I like
Like,
credits, especially in Star Wars, because you have like Imperial credits and you have New Republic credits. Like each different faction has their own currency.
Yeah,
But they all
and
call
then
it the same thing.
Watto doesn't accept Republic credits. That's all I remember about Watto. Those Republic credits are not. I'm not going to do the voice for obvious reasons, but I just remember Watto being like, "I'm not
Thank
accepting
you for
those
stopping
Republican."
me. I was about to do it just out of habit, and you stopped me. Thank you.
Because it's such a fun voice to do.
It's
It's so insane. It's just one of George Lucas's most insane decisions. I feel like Watto is underrated as low key one of the most insane things in those movies.
Okay.
Anyway,
The Viceroys to. Oh my god.
The Viceroys is truly like.
What are we doing?
But I feel like that's obvious. I feel like Watto is just like, wow, he really went there with this dude.
And in the sequel, he has like a fedora and is on the. Man.
Dude, he has a fedora and he's not doing good, and it's almost like you're supposed to feel bad for him when it's like, just to be clear, they're here to see if he still owns the slave. But also, I love that. Have you ever seen the original cover to Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for N64?
Not the original, no. I have.
Okay, look up the cover for that. It's just like a black screen. There's ships in front, and then in the like background, in a faded texture, Watto is just watching it all as like an omnipotent god.
What? Oh my god!
It's my favorite box art, dude. They were like, how do we sell this game? We got to sell it based on the biggest character. We got to sell it based on the biggest character of the film. We got to sell this based on Watto.
I saw this box and didn't. Well, we looked at it like side-eyed almost, so I just assumed it was Sebulba in my head.
No, Watto was the one they chose to like sell this
Watto.
Game. Watto, again, I won't do the voice. He's like my favorite character from that movie. It's just so insane. But look, what do you say? Like George Lucas was probably like, "I want Watto on the box." That's my George Lucas impression. That voice I'll do anytime. You just sound like a frog collapsing into itself. That's how you do a George Lucas impression.
So the lights all changed to green,
Back on
and
topic.
we got anime speed.
Yes.
So
the
dungeon
is,
here.
Plot of speed. I do like this dungeon. Sorry, I just want to note that I think the reason I like this dungeon is because it is just a bunch of mini dungeons instead of one that you keep having to go back through.
It's one contained puzzle. It's not a bunch of puzzles interconnected. Here's a puzzle, solve it, then go to the next, go back into the real world, and then go to the next puzzle. And it feels like the weight here, story-wise, feels urgent. Where you always feel like, even though...
It does. It really does.
Yeah, so everything here, this is the best part of the game. And I'm glad that this was the stopping point, because if it was after Iceman, it'd be like, I don't know, man.
Michael, I thought that. I really did. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry that this was the pick. Because I don't know, but this part made me go, no, this can be good. Again, all the combat areas in it are really fun. Like the new enemies they introduce are really fun to fight. The puzzle is not bad. It's very simple, but it's a fun puzzle where occasionally I would be like, okay, I have to think about this before I run through all these lights, because, changing them like allows you to walk on different things. Changing them back makes those things unwalkable, whatever. I do also like when Lan just goes over to that crowd about to pay a million zennies or whatever, and just says to each individual person, hey, you shouldn't do this. And they're like, you got a point, kid. And they just walk away.
I'm going to fix this. This 11-year-old says he can fix the light, so...
Yeah. Hey, man. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
And then... Wait, do you fight her at this point?
No.
It's later.
You
gotcha.
So after you you don't fight her here. So it's the dungeon. All the pieces are about the same. We touched on it, so we can kind of skip over the puzzles where you're changing all of the lights back to red to kind of reset everything. And after you do it, you get a glimpse of the bus like slowing down. Like the bus is hitting the red lights after it already passes, so it's slowing down but not stopping. So then
Although I was kind of like, what does the inside of that bus feel like? Where it's just like the bomb is still there, it's still tense, but now it's just moving at like 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because it is. So, yeah, the movie Speed, the whole thing is he can't go under, I was about to say 88 miles per hour. I'm getting my movie mixed up. Isn't it 40? Can he not go under 40?
55, 60? I don't know.
Okay, yeah, but point is, in Speed, there's a limit he can't go under. Whereas this is like, no, I mean, it can keep going. The bomb will go off eventually, but like, we'll stop it or whatever. But yeah, eventually, yeah. So this is, again, just really fun. A lot of fun combat. I didn't feel the need to turn on like the Mega Buster power up because I was having fun with these new enemies.
Yeah.
And then at the end it's just like you stop the bus and then it's like but I'm still gonna detonate the bomb anyway.
So
and
you gotta
then
go into the bus to stop Colorman. Roll looks like she's
for
trying.
the record, okay, can I just note that like she was gonna blow that bus up with everyone inside, but it was like Roll was already fighting Colorman.
Yeah.
And that's what did it. So again, we almost just watched like a mass murder happen.
Yep. I wrote, what is Colorman doing to Roll?
Okay, Michael, I'm not doing any more inappropriate jokes, I promise.
Okay, we're skipping
I did not
through that.
like those sprites and animations together.
No, I did not. No.
Did not like that.
Ordinarily, I try to skip over those, but it was so glaring I had to write it. I'm not going to talk about it here.
100%.
Look up
No joke to be made, except it did not look good.
Look up Colorman boss fight on YouTube, because I don't want to talk about this. Moving on. Colorman seems really hard at first, but once you figure him out, he's pretty easy.
I gotta be honest, Colorman was a cakewalk. I think, I forget exactly, I think I just like, I think Gutsman was what did it, because I have Gutsman with me, and he cracks the floor so that if you like move away from what you're standing on, there's a hole there. And it ended up, because, Colorman just has like 2 shield decoys, basically. And
if you shoot one, they'll attack you with a powerful attack.
Right, but I didn't even have that problem, because I just got them separated from Colorman, and I just wailed on him. And it was actually, like, no joke, it was the easiest fight for me in the whole game. It was so easy that I thought there had to be a second phase, like a regular JRPG.
He was strong at first. I didn't die once, but he was strong at first because then once I realized if I find a way to isolate him in that corner there, like what you did, he became really easy. So, Mega Man and Roll make fun of Land for blushing because Mel gets out and basically does the my hero thing.
Yeah.
And she says, I'll pay you back later. And he blushes, and then Mega Man and Roll are like, look at this idiot.
Yeah. Which I want to be like, okay, do the AIs feel love? What do they feel? Like, what are we talking about here? And I've had something spoiled for me about, like, this game, so I won't get into it, but I was kind of like, I can't wait till we get to talk about this.
Okay.
So then I know we were supposed to save right after beating him, but there's a bunch of dialogue we got to get through.
You can't save until after all the. This feels like the point of no return in the story. This feels like a really strong halfway point. The villains are not happy with the spiky-haired lady, so they're going all out and they're planning a massive attack. Do we know the extent of what the massive attack is?
Guess who's going to lead it? Did you notice who's going to lead it?
Lieutenant Surge.
I said Captain Zap, a.k.a. Zap Brannigan. I will only be hearing his dialogue in the Futurama Zap Brannigan voice.
Yes. Fantastic. Your dad invites you to a party at a government building.
Yes, right, I forgot. That's how it ends.
And then our hero is too hungry to worry about anything else right now. He's like, sure, we kind of kickstarted a domino effect that's going to lead to a massive terrorist attack, but boy, am I hungry.
Yeah.
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like the theme of this first chunk we played, I feel like the big theme is this. Lan is a fucking idiot. I feel like...
Yes.
Lan is stupid as shit. He is not a role model. I didn't mention this in the beginning, but like I didn't play these games as a kid, but I knew they existed because a bunch of kids I knew played them. And And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like those kids, so I didn't feel the urge to play this game. Um, but
That's
man,
fun.
having played it, this feels. You know what game this reminds me most of, and I'm not just like doing like a pithy thing here. It reminds me most of the original Mega Man 1, where
Okay.
there is a very solid base here with some really big problems that need to get worked out for a sequel.
Uh-huh. I agree with that completely. Or maybe we'll see what how the second half shakes out. Maybe it's just
For
that one
sure.
section that was the problem and the rest of the game is good. Maybe this
It,
could
it
all
might
fall off
be.
a cliff.
Yeah, it might get much worse. It might get much worse. Like articles might be like, so let's talk about the best dungeon, the ice dungeon, because everything after that was dog shit. Like,
Oh
but
no.
yeah, but I really, it's funny that it reminded me because yeah, again, I've played every classic Mega Man game like 1 through 10. I haven't played Mega Man in base, admittedly, but I've played every like classic Mega Man game. Some of the X games. I've played the first Zero. I really need to go back and play the other Zeros. And that first Mega Man, I actually think is a very fun game, especially when you know what you're doing. But on a first playthrough, it is so wonky. There's just little things that they would get rid of. Like he's got too much of a slide that they would get rid of. There's a
Yeah.
scoring system that was completely unnecessary. There's a weapon in a stage that you need to get in order to complete the game, but the game gives no indication of this. Uh, it really just reminds me of that. It just reminds me of something very flawed, but something could come from that. Because there's
I
enough
can see
good
that.
stuff here. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is topping point. This is where we leave off. So in 2 weeks' time, we will come back and talk about our feelings on the second half of this game and the game as a whole. I'm excited to see where this goes, but I'm also terrified that this could all go bad at a moment's notice. I've never been more scared of can I actually finish a game or not. And I'm worried
Oh,
the
really?
second
Yeah.
half could fall off. We might just come back and be like, yeah, this game broke for me.
It might. Yeah, really. I mean, no, it's true. Like this was an unknown for both of us. And for what it's worth, I am glad because it's just a weird game to pick, but it was so huge for a while. You know, you mentioned it in the preview, like, this did well. It had, like, 5 sequels. It had a spin-off series. It had an anime. Like, this was a major success. And to
To a
see where
lot
it
of
all comes...
people, this is Mega Man.
Yeah, 100%. Uh, and that's bizarre to me. And again, I was the generation that this was, like, aimed at, and I didn't really care for it, or I didn't really play it at all. And now I'm playing it. And to be honest, I had wanted this collection for a while. I technically had like some emulated copies of 1 and 2, but I hadn't played them. And the collection, I'm like, sweet, perfect time for me to finally do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I did. But it is making me go like, maybe it's 2. Maybe 2 is the one where it's like this is where it gets really good.
Yeah.
Because again, I do like the combat in this, but there's just some stuff where I'm like, damn, man, this is this is the worst part of my JRPG love. Yeah.
I feel that. So we'll play through the rest of the game. We'll come back, reconvene in 2 weeks to discuss the second half, if we complete it or not, or we might just complain the last dungeon is broken and we fell off and I watched a cutscene on YouTube.
Well, that's what you're going to do. I am going to use the Buster one
I
shot,
was
one
about to
kill
say,
to just knock it out. Yeah.
At least one of us will have finished this game.
I will
have
beat it.
no
I will
idea
promise
how
that
this is
I
gonna go.
can beat it. I absolutely will and can.
With cheats and with walkthroughs.
100%.
I'm pigeonholed to the original hardware, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm going to be like one thing I'm going to do, I genuinely want to watch a couple episodes of the anime before
Yeah.
the next episode. I
Right.
also want to do some research into Emperor Justinian because I know the basics of that man's story, but I, just want to get, if I'm going to cite his walkthrough, I want to get like his full reign in my head because I know it was a big time for Constantinople.
I was
And that covers it. What's up?
Yeah, I wonder what other walkthroughs he did. I actually found him. We can see what other contributions he did. He made a guide for Top Spin 3 on the Wii
Well, there you go.
14 years ago.
Michael, your theming for the rest of this show should just be playing games that Emperor Justinian 1 wrote a walkthrough for.
We got Lost in Blue for the DS.
Okay,
Mega Man
all right,
X2. He made a map chart for Barrel House Maze in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga.
Really? It's it genuinely. Sorry, I know this episode we got to end it, but it is just so funny to me. Sometimes I am like, where are they now? The people who wrote these game facts guides that they didn't realize would be so helpful like 20 years later to new people.
I need to interview. That should be a fun
bro.
bonus
Invite
show.
Emperor Justinian on the show.
Not just him, but just interview someone who used to do walkthroughs or still does it for so many years. Be like, I want to talk to you about what it's like, because you could make a career out of this, and you do it for fun. So
yeah, I want to be like, so what was the decision making behind whether you used slashes and shit to make a really cool logo at the top of your guide? Because some of them would do that, and some of them would not. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, exactly. My first walkthrough I studied beyond belief was one on GameRevolution.com for Ocarina of Time. I still remember that because, not to get too deep into it, he issued a challenge at the very beginning of that walkthrough. He's like, when you get to Ganon, fight him with the iron boots. That's my challenge for you, before he dove into the walkthrough.
That's such a the fucking early 2000s walkthroughs. That's the documentary I'm going to crowdfund. Just early 2000s walkthroughs for video games.
And the people who made them.
Yes. What a time.
What a time. Speaking of time, our time of this part 1 has come to an end. Thank you, Tanner, for joining me. I'll see you back in a couple weeks for part 2.
Thanks for having me. Can't wait.
Me neither. Stay the save at gmail.com. You can follow show updates on Twitter and Instagram, or our TikTok and YouTube channel for shenanigans, podcast clips, and the occasional stuff I do to try to boost the audience. Thank you all for listening, and as always, stay safe out there.